if you're watching us on YouTube, and if you're hanging out. There, we're hot. We're live. I don't know what the fuck is going on, Jack. I don't know, buddy. You go by Jack or Jackson?
I go by Jack mostly, but my birth name is Jackson.
Jackie boy.
Yeah.
Listen, Jackie boy. I've never seen that do that before. Everything seemed to be working fine, and then I was like, well, let me get this scene switcher working, and it took the entire fucking program and went to shit. To the point where even when it's off, it turns back on. It's switching when it's not supposed to switch, so fuck it. I can't even roll the credits.
Fuck it,
I
we'll
can't
do it
roll
live.
the intro. I can't do shit. I can't do shit, Jackie boy. Fuck.
What are
That's
these called
annoying.
again? Sapphire.
These are the
Black
Mako V. I gave you the black sapphire. That's
Mako V.
that's got the higher rating in Cigar Aficionado.
That was amazing. I know nothing about cigars.
I know everything about cigars. What do you want to know?
Start from the beginning.
I can tell you anything you want to know about cigars. So
This
that
one time in Cuba.
So that one's a Maduro,
Okay.
and that's the darkness. A really dark cigar is usually going to be a Maduro. This is not always true. There's plenty of exceptions to this, but most of the time it's going to be a Maduro. It's got a richer, darker flavor. Not necessarily a heavy cigar, right?
Okay.
It's not necessarily like a full-bodied cigar, but that is what made those popular. Is they were the really strong cigars. So
Okay. A lot of flavor.
a lot of flavor. Let me grab a fucking beer. Hold on.
No, this one's still full. Yeah. I'm on the seltzers these days, to be honest. I'm not a big guy, so I feel like
What are you,
one
a
or two
fucking bitch, bro?
Just watching the
Fucking
calories.
seltzers? You drink seltzers like my fucking wife, bro? No, I'm just kidding, dude.
Seltzers.
I'm just kidding, dude. But yeah, most of the time they're going to be super dark like that, those Maduros and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this is a Habano, so this is what I actually think it's more flavorful, but it's a lighter color. So people often mistake lighter cigars for lighter flavors, and that's just not.
That's not how it works. Did you already do like the cut thing?
Mm-hmm. I cut that one for you, yeah.
So it's just a light and go.
I would offer you my cigar lighter, but I fucking lost it, dude.
Oh, you had like a special one? You
And
would.
a really nice
You'd have
torch.
a badass one.
Yeah, dude, it was pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even humble about it because I didn't buy that motherfucker. It was a gift, which makes me feel even worse, right? But long story short, let me turn this stupid chat off. I was supposed to be able to do fun stuff like, oh, it's working. That's never.
I'm gonna get
That also
destroyed
never
in the
happens.
comments. This dude doesn't know how to light a cigar. So I basically just
That shit also never fucking works. That's fucking wild. Hopefully that pops up here in a little bit. There we go. Bam! Hey everyone, thanks for hanging out. Blah 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 blah. So yeah, anyways, long story short, I didn't buy that fucking lighter. It was a gift. And I had I had 4 or 5 days off. And Friday night I was hanging out in the gazebo with the neighbors.
okay.
We had the neighbors over and we're just drinking beers and hanging out. And I just lost my fucking lighter. I can't explain it for the life of me.
It went into the abyss.
Yeah, and it's weird because I've lost a few things in this house that make absolutely no sense. Like one of them is a pair of jeans. Like right after we moved into this house, a pair of my jeans just went missing.
I'm like that with socks.
Like
I feel like where
everybody
do they go?
misses socks though, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody loses socks, and
Especially
it's
if
always in
you're
the dryer.
roommates, Yeah, it's always somebody took it and
Or
just
oftentimes they
disappears in the
actually
dryer.
get lost in the dryer.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a little thing in there, but nah, man, I just fucking be losing shit. So we're doing matches tonight, dude. which a lot of people say is the better way to do a cigar because you're not getting any fuel taste. But I'm like, I don't know, man. You're getting sulfur. Like,
I was gonna say, yeah, you're getting
but maybe sulfur adds to the taste. Maybe that's what they're saying.
I was gonna say,
actually
is it
do
normal?
like a
Like, we
match.
probably have to relight it quite a bit. I'm not like doing the technique wrong. I'm sure I am.
It depends on if you light it correctly, and I'm not a like expert on matches. I do know like the good cigar matches though, dude, are like fucking 6 inches long, and that's why. It's so you can actually and then twist it while you're lighting it. Spin your cigar. There you go. Yeah, you'll probably have to light a couple more matches, but
Happens.
walk it,
Tastes great though.
dude. I haven't done a podcast in months, bro.
Well, then you're about ready then.
I'm about to ready, laddie. So we
Go back
did
to
have
the
a
20s
we did
version.
have I did have somebody message me, and I'm gonna start. I never do this because this is in case people are wondering like what the fuck is this? This is a weird fucking podcast. They're not even like this. Is he gonna interview him? Is he gonna ask any questions? The answer's
getting
probably
warmed
not.
up. Yeah.
The answer's probably not. But I did get. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody watching right now because that fucking link I sent out for you. That one we
Mhm.
botched. That one.
Batched it. It's all good.
We botched it.
We'll do
It's a
the
total
link
botch
later.
job.
We'll do it live now, and we'll do a link later.
But check this out. So somebody sent in a message or a question. So I'm gonna try to play you. It's a video question. Okay, you can take a peek up there. You ready? If this works, which you see nothing was working, right? Okay, so let's see if this works. Here's a fan question.
Why are you gay?
I've been waiting to do that. I've been fucking
It's funny
waiting to
because
do
anybody that would have like asked me a question would probably just say something like that.
Have you,
to be honest,
do you know what that's from?
I keep seeing the Instagram like thing. It's
Wow,
from some
you
newscast. Yeah, he's
Dude,
like,
so I was gonna load
Oh,
up
yeah.
the full version, which I will for future reference. I will have the full version in there, but that's all I could get in there in such a short time period. But yeah, it's this fucking Kenyan dude. So they're having similar. I don't want to say issues because that makes it sound completely negative, but they're having a similar social. You know what the Overton window is?
Mm-mm.
The Overton window is society's window that they're willing to look through, and these are the things that are acceptable.
Mm.
And at times that window will widen.
Mhm.
At times that window narrows. But most of the time the window just moves. It shifts.
Yeah.
Okay, so
When things come in and out of
it
style,
rarely
yeah.
actually gets wider, meaning a civilization would find more things acceptable than they did in the past.
I think they're going off of that. The era that I grew up in, which was like we had
Is it the modern era?
yeah. Good segue. Lovely.
No. Anyways, go on.
I feel like I grew up in that era of like, you know, it was South Park and, you know, WWF Raw's War era, you know, Attitude era. You know, you had Stick Death and like things were just really racy, you know, in the late 90s. And Celebrity Deathmatch, like all that stuff. All the films that were coming out. And now I think well, I don't know. People say that we're still in the PC era or we're just getting out of it, but I don't know. Things
Well,
seem to
the
go.
PC thing-
Things are very cyclical.
Cyclical,
Yeah.
yeah, and the PC thing comes and goes as well, like
Mhm.
almost like the tide. It comes
What
in
happened
and
in
it
like
goes
what was
out.
it like
It comes in and it goes
the
out.
end of the Reagan era? Because you had that was a little bit
AIDS.
before my time. You
Well,
had,
AIDS. No, seriously,
and-
AIDS is what really
and
did
like
it.
Tipper Gore like censoring music and
But
and all
that
that
entire conservative wave happened because of the AIDS outbreak. The AIDS epidemic is what. did
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it was all
like
around.
it's 100% stem. Like you chase that down, and it's because people got fucking. Because you got to understand, man, they came out of the 60s and the 70s where there's
Yeah.
rampant drug use,
yeah.
and
when it was
it's free
expansion of-
love.
yeah, free
People
love.
are having orgies and shit.
yeah.
Into the 80s, you know, where you got fucking basically naked women dancing, strip dancing on fucking muscle cars on
Yeah.
MTV.
Yeah,
Like
that was-
we're talking
yeah,
like
hair metal
decadence and
yeah.
shit. You know, you got guys dressing like girls,
Yep.
very androgynous, very
Mhm.
back and forth. And then the AIDS thing happened, and all of that went away.
That's true.
All of a sudden, the early 90s, it's grunge. People are
Yep.
like clothed more.
Yep.
It killed porn. It killed and it killed an entire generation's sex life. Like people that were
Yeah.
like in their prime in the middle of the 90s, they didn't get to have none of that crazy wild cocaine sex from the 80s.
It
right?
changed very quickly. Yeah.
And they didn't get that internet porn sex that you and I grew up with, right? Like dude, our fucking sex life was great growing up. Most of us. You know what I mean? But no, so
virtual
the
sex life.
Overton window usually just kind of moves, right?
Yeah.
And so like it rarely actually expands.
Mhm.
It's usually just like whoever kind of gets control of society kind of shifts the paradigm, or something like AIDS happens where it just
Yeah.
kind of shifts the Overton window.
So do you think with all we've been through in the past few years, what do you?
Ours is
what's your-
shifting.
Yeah.
It's
I feel
shifting
a
because
shift. I
it's
don't know where
not
it's
it's
going,
not
but-
expanding because it's
Yeah.
being resisted so much.
Yeah.
Because what's trying to be thrown into that Overton window is too much for most people in a short period of time.
Mm.
If these changes would have come incrementally instead of in 5 years,
Yeah.
you know, which really it started probably back. It's actually probably more like 10
Mhm.
because a lot of this shit actually started back in like 2012, dude. Like Obama was president when the Ferguson shooting happened. That's when Black Lives Matter happened,
Mhm.
right? And that was like get woke started to become a thing.
Mhm.
And like then by the time Trump was in office, it was a lot of like in your face women's rights. And then
Yeah, the Me
since
Too movement
Yeah.
happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
and then
Been
since
a crazy
then
few years, man.
and then since then we've also had the trans movement, right?
Mhm.
And so that's what's kind of happening. And I think it's Kenya, it might be Nigeria, I don't know African accents well enough, but that's what that's from, because he has this
Yeah, 'cause
this
it's like a
fucking guest
newscast,
on,
yeah.
and he's like he's like, I have on Mr. Julian Pepe, blah blah blah. And he's like,
Mhm.
he turns the first question, why are you gay?
Oh, okay.
And
That's
she
what that
goes,
clip's
she goes,
from.
who says I'm gay? And he goes, you are gay.
And that's the part that went viral, and rightfully so.
Well,
It is
'cause
pretty
it's
funny.
so
Yeah, it's so
fucking-
outlandish. Yeah.
It's so absolutely over the top. And he goes, you are transgender.
Like, what? Yeah, and the other guy's just really confused.
It's a woman. It's definitely a woman.
Oh, I'm sorry. The
who's
other person. I
trans
should say.
into trans from woman to dude. But the thing that a lot of people are not okay with, even over there, is the fact that this is a woman saying she's a dude but attracted to other women.
Mm.
And so he's like, that's just gay. He's like, you're gay.
Mm.
He's like, so that's the point that's really funny for me, is like some people can't even wrap their head around that concept. And so
Yeah.
they're like,
They have to put a.
she's like, who said I'm
classification on
gay?
it. Yeah,
and he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you're gay.
Yeah.
like, you're transgender.
Jumping to conclusions there.
Like, I mean, and that does beg the question, right? Like, that fucking. We used
I
to
don't know.
joke
I'm
about
just
that.
at the
If
point
I
where I'm
claim,
like,
if I
you
claim
know-
I'm a woman though, but I'm still attracted to women,
Mm.
does that make me a lesbian? Like, it can't, right? Because
I
I'm
don't
not.
even- I don't even
I don't know, dude. It's
It's-
fucking.
classifications, or I don't know.
Because
I'm just
I
at
have,
the point
I
in my
have
life where I'm
here's
like,
the other thing.
let
I
people
have
do it.
trans friends. I
Mhm.
have trans friends.
Yeah, I do as well.
Like,
of course.
and I don't have a problem with it. I don't at all. I don't misgender them.
lives.
None of that shit, right? Like,
Yeah,
they're my
yeah.
friends. I have respect for them.
Yeah.
But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm
Mhm.
talking about is the ridiculousness, the over the top, the in your face. Like, I was listening to Rogan talk about it with the trans sports athletes and shit, and it's
Mhm.
just like, yeah, a lot of people have gone too far. And Ice Cube asked him. Ice Cube's like, well, what if I say I want to identify as no longer being black? And here's what I think, right? That actually makes more sense to me, because race is a spectrum.
I don't.
Because you can be
suppose
mixed.
I don't know.
You're mixed. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
so
yeah. I
like,
see what you're
nobody's
saying, yeah.
all black or all white. You get your
Yeah,
DNA
yeah.
test. You're a literal rainbow of races.
I mean, yeah, we're
Like,
all
almost
mutts,
all
you
of
know?
us do that, right?
Yeah.
And if not racist, then different nationalities, right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that is a spectrum. But for some reason, if I tell people, well, I want to identify as a black man, people would be like, you're fucking nuts. Get out of here, dude. But you can identify as another gender? Like, and I'm not talking about the people that are genuinely transitioning. That's not
Mhm.
what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this weird, ambiguous, in between. The they them thing really throws me off. I'm not sure I'm understanding.
Pronouns is something I've learned to just like try to understand,
Yeah.
like what people would prefer to be called.
Oh,
It
I'm
really
trying,
is just-
buddy.
Yeah,
I'm trying, buddy. I
Yeah,
just
you know,
can't seem
that's-
to wrap
that's all
my
you
head
can do,
around it.
really. You know,
Did you see the video of the one girl who's like, this person came into my shop and they said, your pronouns, you look like a they them. And then she's like,
They
And
assumed
they-
that? Oh,
yeah, and
that's
they were like, and they were right, and I was really upset that they were right about that. Like that's what I'm saying. It doesn't seem to make any sense to me. There's no consistency to it. Like
I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, I just want to respect what people want to be called, you know?
yeah,
And so
I don't know.
I guess I
I'm-
don't have to, you know, like I
I
don't
don't
have
know
to
if I have a
understand
problem
things to a
with
certain
that.
degree. It's just
I don't know
like,
if I have a
that's their
problem with
preference,
that.
you know?
in theory, but like, God, I don't even remember what my original point was. I was talking about the Overton window. I don't even remember what my original point. Oh yeah, that was my original point. I don't have a problem with that, right? And I
Mhm.
don't really have a problem with any of this shit.
Mhm.
I really don't.
Yeah, it's the
I'm commenting more on like, I'm willing to also admit like, yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And right now, that's not okay. So
Mhm.
that's what I was trying to say. So me just simply going, yeah, I'm not sure I'm 100% on board with this, and I'm not sure I'm going to comply with this. That's like, oh, that's not in the Overton. That's not acceptable right now. So
Mhm.
you're out of the group now.
okay. I think
Like
I
like
understand
that's
you're
what I'm trying to say. You see what I'm saying? So the window never expands, meaning we accept trans people and gender fluid people.
Yeah.
We don't do that and allow people to be like, yeah, I'm not into it. Right now, the Overton window just moved. So the people that weren't into it, they're no longer acceptable. Like, that's not an acceptable way to think or feel. Now, the Overton window shifted over here where, like, you just have to agree with whatever these people say. Does that make sense?
I think so.
If it expanded, it would have just added more things that were acceptable, more ways to think, more ways, like sex kinks and shit. You know what I mean? It's like it
Yeah.
almost went from like, this is a steep analogy, so bear with me. It almost
Okay.
went from like saying back in the day, foot fetishes were okay, right? So there's your fucking your Overton window,
Mhm.
and instead of going, well, foot fetishes are still okay, and now butt stuff's in. Right now, that's a bigger window. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like it went from foot fetishes to butt stuff, and if you're into foot fetishes, you're a fucking freak, right? We don't want anything to
yeah.
do with you anymore. That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say.
I
It
see what you
rarely
mean, yeah.
actually expands. It just kind of shifts into like, this is the way we think as a society now, and if you're not in that, you're out. Like in the McCarthy era, when they when they were putting communists on trial. Versus 2018, where they wanted Trump supporters and Trump donors put on a list and made public. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's
Okay.
insane. Like, that's an insane proposition to do. Like, you're talking about violating people's privacies because you don't like who they voted for and you want to know who the bad guys are. That's some Nazi shit, bro. Like, that really is some fucking, or communism shit too. Like how Putin does that shit. He's like, nope. You can't support. There is nobody else you're allowed to. That's what I'm talking about, dude. And that's where that shit came from, because they're still doing the same thing we're doing. They're going through an Overton window shift just like everybody else is over there, but they're not nearly as far down the road as we are. Like, we're way more liberal than most places. Even the liberal places, like, people bring up what is it, fucking like one of the, I don't know, like Denmark or Sweden or one of those fucking things. And they're like, oh, these guys are so progressive. Look how they live in this utopia. Yeah, dude, they have a list of government-approved names in one of those countries. I can't remember which one it is. It might be like Denmark or something. But, like, you can't name your kid whatever you want like you can in America. They're, like, the government...
Do they, like, want to keep... Is it... I wonder what the reasoning is. Like, do they want to keep it within their cultures?
Yeah, it's like,
names?
these are
You can't just be like,
traditional
no,
names.
John, Jim, or...
Yeah, it's like, no, it's got to be Enrique or whatever the fuck. It can't be Henry. It's Henrik, because that's their...
They
That's what I'm
want to
saying,
keep
like-
their heritage alive. I suppose.
Yeah, dude, and it's just fucking wild, man. Like all these fucking places are nuts, dude.
Yeah, you know, and that's
Everybody's nuts. Every fucking country in the world has lost their fucking mind, including us. I'm just so tired
It's
of
been
this
such
idea.
a volatile few years, and I'm hoping
It's been a while
that
man.
we're
Wild few years.
on the, I don't know, the cusp of like a renaissance period of, like, you know, start valuing art and books and music and film, and, you know, I've seen some shifts. Like, for instance, I think the horror genre is kind of going through like a renaissance period right now. Like a few years ago, horror was still, you know, kind of panned as like, it's just, you know, that's just, there's no room for expansion. And now you got
It
guys
did
like,
seem like that.
yeah, you got guys like Jordan Peele who are kind of like, you know, putting the genre on their back and cranking out great movies, and, you know, Ari Aster and like all these filmmakers who are really legitimizing those types of films again. Because that's what I wanted to do when I was a kid. Was I wanted to direct horror movies, And then
No shit.
Yeah,
That was the thing. It wasn't music. It wasn't sports.
yeah.
It was,
No,
you
it was,
wanted to make horror movies. That's
I had
cool.
a camcorder at 11 or 12 years old, and I got my mom to take me to the Halloween store, and we just bought fake blood and knives and guns and costumes and whatever. And I would just grab whatever friends were in the neighborhood, and like I would just make films. I learned how to edit, and that's what got me into acting, and what eventually transitioned into music. You know, because I met a lot of musicians through that as well.
I don't think I told you. I fucking tried some acting when I was a kid.
Really?
In fact,
did you film or theater?
So I was going film, and I was not something I ever took serious. It was something my mom wanted me to do.
Okay.
And so I auditioned for, God, I think it was only 2 or 3 movies. I was a featured extra in one, meaning I had lines, and they all got cut, of course, right? And it could have even just been as simple as, who the fuck is this kid? Clearly this kid knows somebody, right?
Yeah.
Which I didn't. My grandma was just my grandma was just really good at schmoozing people. So all I had was like, it was technically 2 lines. It was really just one. And it was just like, God, what was it? It was something like, oh, sorry. And then I said, I'm sorry. It was something dumb like that. It was a redundant line, but I was supposed to bump into one of the hockey players in the cafeteria line. Or they were
This
supposed
wasn't
to
for
bump.
Mighty Ducks, was it?
Yeah, Mighty Ducks 3.
No
yeah,
shit.
Mighty Ducks 3. Yeah.
Oh my god, a friend of mine was in that. His
No
name's
shit.
Tomas.
Yeah.
He's
But
one
I
of, like,
am,
the henchmen,
but I
hockey
am
player.
like in the background of almost every scene of that movie because
No
there
shit. I
wasn't
gotta rewatch it now.
there wasn't as many actors or extras. Sorry, there wasn't as many extras as it seems like. That was still in
they
the
can
time where.
reuse people. Yeah.
Well, not only that, but they didn't CGI anything.
Yep.
So they had those cardboard cutouts of people in the stands, and they had
shit.
those fill out most of the stands, and then they would just move the same group of people to the background of the shot. And I was a cute kid, so they kept bringing me down there and putting me in there. And then my grandma smooched the director or one of the casting people, and so they liked my look, and they were already using me. And anyways, that didn't work out. And then. So nobody knows that, but if you watch, especially the one you really see me is when they score the winning goal at the end. They do a quick shot, a jump cut to the crowd,
and you're in there,
and I'm just freaking out right there up against the glass.
Okay,
I'm just, and then they cut back, right? And it was really cool. So I was like, when my mom wanted me to go audition for an actual movie, and I think I only had one, I might have had 2. I was like, well, okay, the Mighty Ducks thing was really fun. Maybe I can be in the movie, and that might be more fun. That was my logic, but I wasn't into it. I was into sports. And
what sports did you play?
Football and baseball. But it was The Cure is the movie I auditioned for with Brad Renfro. And I made the final cut. It was down between me and him for that final role. And what fucked me up was, because I had no idea how to act, was they had me preparing, because it was like 4 callbacks, right, to weed down to us. And because it was it was a casting call, like literally it started off with hundreds of children, and I just happened to have a shaved head, so I was really skinny to begin with, kind of good looking as a little kid at least, and I had the head so they could just see it easier, right? It wasn't even that I was special in any way. I just kind of checked a few boxes, so that's how I made the first cut and the second cut and the third cut, because they started talking to me and interviewing me, and I'm pretty confident, and I can talk to people even as a kid. And then they had me, they told me the character they wanted me to play and told me to go home, come back the next day, and that's what I would be auditioning for. And I think, if I remember right, they even gave me some dialogue to memorize, because when I came back the next day, they had me audition for a completely different role. They had me auditioning for Brad Renfro's part, not the kid who catches AIDS. And so I'm like, this isn't what I prepared for. And they wanted me to be all super fucking aggressive with this other kid.
That's happened to me before too.
Where I really got fucked, Jack, was they put me last, and they said, just don't do anything that the other kids do. And so they took, without us talking,
put your legs up.
The first kid went up, and I was like, well, fuck, I can't say that. I can't do that. I can't say that. I can't do that. Okay, I'm like, well, okay, well, what am I going to do then? And then I had a new plan. Yep. And the second kid went up and did that. So by the time I got up there, I was fucking nervous and speechless. I had no idea what to say or do. And so there was 3 of us. I keep saying it was down to the final 2. No, there was 3 of us. There's 3 of us, not 2. And that was it. And then the next time I tried to get into acting, it was a little bit later in school. And dude, I'm not going to lie to you, man. fucking actors and theater people, they fucking weird me out, dude. Almost all
Theater's
of them.
hard, man.
They're also weird people.
They can be. I mean, you're painting with a broad brush, but I know what you mean.
You're a weirdo. You're all fucking weirdos. I mean, no.
It's a spectrum, right? Yeah.
Joking.
Spectrum of weird.
Jokingly, it is a weird group of people, though, because literally, especially if you're successful, you make irrational amounts of money to literally play make-believe like actual children. Right? And I took theater. You have to suspend the disbelief. You have to do the whole thing. You even have to do that as a viewer.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, man, it's like it's a weird group of people, and that's what my question was. Is so now that you're doing acting, like, how do you find your way through that? Because you're pretty normal. Like, you're a musician, so you're a little bit of a nut job like me.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely weird as hell.
You don't seem like an actor level of nut job. So how do you navigate that? Because those fucking people are weird. I ain't trying to be an actor. I can fucking say whatever I want about actors. They're fucking weird, dude. That whole fucking scene is weird. I'm not going to go Joe Rogan and be like, they're fake people just trying to appease everybody. I'm not going to do that. Say that. He says it all the time.
Shots fired, Joe.
Because he used to be an actor too, and he refuses to be in movies anymore. He hated it.
I loved him on news radio when I was a kid.
He was great.
But apparently he didn't.
He was great.
He loved the cast and stuff, but he talks to other actors and he's like, nah, I'm not.
Once he got his fuck you money from Fear Factor, he was out. He was out.
That
of the
was
game.
probably his first big thing. Yeah,
that's when he got fuck you money for the first time.
Then he did UFC. Then he reinvented the podcast game. Yeah.
But he did the first 6 UFCs for free
because he was just a fan.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard.
He didn't do it for money. But my point is they're fucking weird. You're not. So how do you navigate that? Like,
well, okay. So, like I said, I grew up. I mean, I was the weird kid in Woodbury, Minnesota. To be honest with you, I was the kid that when other kids were playing sports, watching porn, stealing their parents' cigarettes, whatever, I had a video camera and I was trying to make movies with my friends. And so, eventually, a few years into that, my mom was like, "Okay, we're going to send you to like art school." So I went to art school drama school out in Idlewild, California. So I basically did directing for a summer, 2 summers, and then I did acting for a summer. And I met all shapes. Fun story. The first girl I ever kissed was Mara Wilson from Matilda and Mrs. Doubtfire and all those movies. She was a child actor.
The little girl?
Yeah.
Like Matilda?
I mean, she was big at the time.
She was bigger than you at the time.
She was a year older than me. I lied about my age.
No shit.
Yeah.
So you made out 16, with Matilda.
I told her I was about to turn 16 and I'm still 14.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I mean, that was my eye-opening period of like.
That's super interesting.
And it was a whole spectrum of people. You know, you had the theater group, you had the film kids, you had the more film actor kids, you had the music majors. And that's kind of how I always was. It was like, I never really had a true tribe. So I was like, I'll go chill with like these kids. I never really broke into theater, to be honest with you. I was a film guy. I grew up, my dad's like, listen, we're going to sit you down. You're watching fucking Godfather, fucking Scarface and Goodfellas and Tombstone. And like, these are important pieces of art, you know? So yeah, I grew up basically a film kid and then got into junior high, starting bands. My dad and my grandpa were both guitar players too. So it was like, I wanted to be a singer because I was like the performer, you know, but I wanted an audience.
So most people, especially at a young age, are not into directing and acting. They usually only do one because they can't do the other. And I don't mean talent wise. I mean access wise. So like the Jon Favreaus of the world honestly didn't want to do a lot of acting. They wanted to do the directing, but because of access to other actors, a lot of times they were kind of forced to play in their own movies.
And that's
so. How at a young age, how do you cross that bridge from wanting to direct to wanting to be the performer, the lead singer, the actor? Because that's a pretty big fucking jump from behind the camera to in front of it, especially as a kid.
Yeah, I think I wanted to direct, and then went to Idlewild 2 years and I learned, oh shit, there's a whole other level of like technology you need to learn and like the industry, you know, like you got to work crew stuff, you got to go, you know, to a school, you got to get a bunch of debt, you got to work your way up. And some of those people might never get to make a movie, even if they put everything into it. So at that time, you know, nowadays we could make a movie tonight on my iPhone and fucking release it and it would look pretty damn good, you know? So
that's true.
I wanted to direct, and then actually, my last year at Idlewild.
To be fair, to tell people, if you really want it to look good, you still have to buy one of those fucking accessory add-on lenses for the iPhone camera. You can only get so good with that iPhone camera, but it is possible. It's very possible, especially if you know how to edit and fucking do.
And that was my skill. Was like I really learned how to edit early. I had iMovie, I think, at 12. So, and then graduated to Final Cut Pro. I mean, they stuck me. It used to be a whole editing room. It was like this kind of setup, like, and you just had to figure it out,
Yeah.
And everybody was older than me. It was intimidating when I was like 14 trying to make.
So do you edit your music videos and shit?
I do, yeah.
So that's you.
Yep.
That's cool.
All the videos.
You have a similar
so far.
attitude as I did when I made fucking the one music video I made for one of my bands back in the day. And I want you to tell me if this is how you came across this thought process and decided to do your videos this way, and then we'll play one, because it seems like they're all three the same idea, right? And I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah.
So
there's a sound.
Here's what I figured. No, not sound. I mean like the video style.
Oh yeah.
So here's what I realized, right? We were a local band with little to no money.
Yeah.
The worst thing we could try to do, which a lot of bands, really good local bands, tried to do, was shoot like actual music videos, like concept music videos where there's a fucking story and they're like
it's hard,
and they're like walking around on the streets and fucking doing shit, and like they got a girl in their arm or they're passing a girl while they're on the fucking telephone or some shit. It's like, fuck off.
It's
None
really
of you are
hard,
actors.
Yeah.
Like seriously, you're all my buddies, right? So the guys who I'm talking about, I'm talking about you. And 20 years later, you go back and watch that video. That video is 20 years old now. We're all grown ass men. You can go back and watch yourself as a fucking late teenager, early 20s guy. Here's the thing: your fucking videos were cringe. You know they were fucking cringe. You didn't know it then, but you go back and watch it now. You're like, that's fucking cringe. We shouldn't have done that. And I could see that cringe, right? So what I did is I go, we're not doing any of that. What we're gonna do is we're just going to bring a film crew in, 2, 3, 4 guys, whatever we can afford to pull off. And we're just going to have them follow us around and film us just being a band at rehearsal, going to a show.
Yeah, that's what you want. Yeah,
playing the actual show, hanging out with people. And then it did get stepped up a touch because I was like, I got a buddy with a limo company. Let me get a limo so we can fucking arrive at the venue in style. Cool. You know what I mean? It was cool. And it seems like you guys kind of did the same idea, which is we're just going to edit together a bunch of live footage because this is the most organic and authentic way to show people in a visual setting, a music video, that we're fucking cool and we're worth checking out. Because if we try to go and get these guys to be a bunch of actors and go concept video, like
it can get too much.
We don't have the budget for that. Yeah, we don't have the lighting. We don't have the. You need to pay for actors if you're going to do that, right?
Exactly.
Like, I really believe.
I completely agree.
Is that how you kind of came to that same conclusion, or was it from a completely different perspective?
Well, with this stuff, with the mods, it was almost at the time the GoPro had just come into play. And we knew we had to do videos.
The mods, that's the modern era. That's what you call you guys.
That's
for
what
sure?
People call us. Yeah.
Cool. Tight.
Yeah. We roll with it. I don't hate it.
Oh, it's smoky in here. Will you do me a favor, dude? Will you pull that fucking black curtain back to the wall? There's a hook on the right, and just slip it behind that hook. Nope, down waist high. There you go. Yep, there you go. Oh, I guess it's not waist high. There you go. That'll clear that smoke out of here pretty quick.
Got fresh air. There we go.
It'll move around now.
Do I get a key grip credit now?
There you go. Is that what a grip does?
I
don't know shit
Gaffer,
about the movie.
I don't know.
I don't know goddamn thing about the movie business.
I should know. I'm on movie sets. Sorry to all my crew friends. They're going to be pissed.
I almost became a production assistant once, and then I didn't like the people that were running it, so I was like, man, fuck this. I don't want to do this.
Oh, it can get grueling. You know what a tough, like, the unsung hero of the film set to me is the guy who's holding the fucking boom.
The boom?
All day. Those guys need to strike and get some more money.
They probably get paid really well.
I would hope so.
I can't imagine doing that all day.
I would not know the logistics.
You make a crazy amount of money.
Yeah. I've just seen it mostly on the local level where it's like, have your buddy do it. And I'm like, you better be giving slip that guy a 20 or something at least.
Well, especially in LA. Like,
I bet,
where the cost of living is so high, that job can't be worth doing unless you're making like $250,000 a year. Because $100,000 a year ain't shit.
Like people who are like, A-list people.
Well, it's got to be union too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, $100,000 in LA ain't shit.
Yeah,
like $100,000 here, you'd be like, "Fuck, I'll do that shit for $100,000." I'll fucking still, even with inflation, I'll still be balling at $100,000.
Absolutely, yeah.
But in LA, it's like that's like $40,000 a year here, 45 grand a year. It's not
like,
bad, but
yeah, it's just average. Yeah,
I can go make more money than that doing a less shitty job. I'm sitting there holding some
yeah,
shit.
You make $100K here, you're like balling. Yeah.
Anyway,
But,
so back. So we're talking about making the music videos.
Yeah, no. So that came out of just like what we had, the tools that we had at the time was like the GoPro. We knew we needed to do videos. We had no money, and we would just play shows, and they got crazier and crazier. And we're like, well, and then we just come up with concepts like our video editor. He did everything for us. Francois. We would just kind of plan things like, hey, I'm probably gonna crowd surf on a giant piece of pizza tonight, so you might want to get that, or he'd be like, hey, just if you're gonna jump into the crowd, make sure to jump into me because it'll get a great angle, or because the shows were just getting crazy. So we were like, that's what people want to see, is how crazy this live band is. So then we'll go see them, So that's what we had at the time. So we just ran with it. But now, I like incorporating that. But it would be fun to do something different, which we'll get into with the next round of music,
So you guys are not just reuniting for this show.
Oh no, we're making music. Yeah,
you're doing shit
There'll be
again?
A record. Yeah,
nice. Who are you recording with?
We were recording with this guy Xander Moser.
You guys
Xander
are recording
Moser.
now?
Yes, I actually just finished my second solo record with him. I've recorded everything with him and with Tree Speak Studios since 2018.
Oh wow!
So all of my solo stuff.
And where are they? Are they here in Minneapolis?
Yeah, they're in like Columbia Heights. It's a cool studio. They like converted it like a dentist's office.
No shit. Where is it on Central Avenue?
It's right next to. It's across the street from Community Grounds.
Okay, you
and the
shouldn't
high
have
school.
said that. You shouldn't have said that on the internet.
Oh, sorry.
Got that. Now motherfuckers are gonna be out there knocking on his door and shit. Can I come record music here?
It's not directly across the street. It's on that block. Maybe. Maybe not.
Sean, you'll have to read the Sean Rush has got a question. What has this dude been in? Don't tell him, because we have a new tradition here. Okay, when these guys don't send us a bona fide bio, okay, I make up their bio, and so his official history is in the description of this video. It's quite harsh. So you guys are reuniting now after 5 years.
Yes.
Of what I described as 5 harsh years in the Antarctic, clubbing seals and penguins.
Yeah. Good description. No, yeah,
that's what you get for not sending me a bio, buddy.
No, I like it. I'll go with it. I'll riff it.
I also think I said you're a guy who does stuff in bands.
I mean, that's an accurate description.
I wasn't even, because
honest.
when you said you wanted to come on and you had a new band, I just assumed you were the singer and or guitar
you
player.
Assumed right, yeah.
And I'm like, but I don't actually know what he's doing in this band, because I was like, I don't want to watch these videos. I don't want to listen to this music. I want to like genuinely react to this with him.
like that.
He's coming on to promote it. Like, I want to do this with him that way. Because I've gone back and forth between trying to listen to it beforehand and then listening to it. And it's like, listen, man, if I know you're a legit musician, which I know you are, I was like, I don't need to hear it first. I don't want to do that, because then it gets weird and it gets fucking awkward, because then people are like, well, break down the songs and blah 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 blah, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to get in the water like that. It's just fucking, it's dumb. But anyways, you made this song. Are all 3 of these old tunes or new tunes?
They're all old.
They're all old tunes.
There's recordings
old footage.
in the works, but there's nothing released yet.
Okay, we're gonna play one of these right now.
Let's do it. Which one are you gonna play?
This one is called, what is it called? Almost Something. I'm just kidding.
Almost Something? Oh, Nearly Nothing?
Nearly Nothing is the name of the song.
I like that.
Yeah, Sean Rush. This is one of my favorite lines. And he may or may not be Jewish. And then I think I even said, probably not, but maybe. I'm Jewish. I can make those jokes. Fuck you guys. All right, here's this song.
Why are you gay?
Oh my God. Got me again.
That is not what I meant to do. All right, we gotta fucking, hold on. I gotta turn this shit off.
comes easily, like a company. Don't you know? I fall for you like a domino. It's my fate to know, darling. Don't get me wrong, and I will say nearly nothing. Don't get me wrong, and I will say nearly nothing. Do you ever feel like you're falling into oblivion? Do you ever get the feeling that you're not special? Because tonight don't get me wrong, and I will say nearly nothing. Don't get me wrong, and I will say nearly nothing.
Yeah, that's impressive, dude, because like a lot of guys, I got lucky with that in the video I shot too, because I was the drummer, and that's probably why.
Yeah.
So I have a surprisingly good meter, and I remember tempos, like not because I know what 180 sounds like, it's because I know what that song feels like when I play it. And as the drummer, I set the fucking tempo. So we got really lucky when I edited my video down. There was a few sections that I got the right musician in the right part where I was in. And it's funny because the drums, I got the drums to sync up properly. Oh, what the fuck's going on here? There we go. Oh, wait, hold on. I got to do something. Oh, son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. That's why that other one played too. That was the same thing. So anyways, I had a couple of Kevin's bass parts. I had one or two of John's singing guitar parts, and then I had two or three of my drum parts that synced up right, just because it made sense for that part of the song, like fills and something where it looked cool as a drummer. Otherwise, it was usually pretty boring. And there was a couple other times I was able to fake it, just because like I just need a snare hit right here. I just need to flash to me.
Drums are hard to
show
edit.
me hitting a snare right on cue with that music, and then we'll just move on. It doesn't even have to be the right part of the song. It was not even close to the right part of the song. Long story short, somehow, some way, when I did my final mix for the thing, it glitched and took one of my little video clips and doubled it, but not in the same spot. It put it here, and then it put it like farther down here. So it took all their clips that were synced to the music and bumped them back.
Oh, I hate
and I
that.
didn't realize this until it was way too late into the process.
Yeah.
And so when I kept stacking towards the end, like mine lined up again.
Oh yeah.
But it was literally, if I would have just taken, if I would have taken theirs out, it would have bumped everything back into place. But then I would have had to put something over here. And I ended up forgetting I needed to take it out, and then literally the laptop I edited it all on got stolen like within days. So it was like, I can release this as is, or we have no video. And so we released it as is. It sucked. And the other two the other two band members were really mad at me about it. They're like, that's fucked up. Only your parts synced up with the music. And then they didn't believe the glitch thing. And it's funny because if you watch that music video, anybody who edits can go, that's the scene you're talking about.
Yep.
Like that shouldn't be in there twice.
I would see that. Yeah,
yeah, you'd notice it right away,
Yep,
dude. And you'd call me too. You'd be like,
Bro.
"Hey, buddy, I found the one. I know which one you're talking about."
Clip, man. No, I know exactly what you mean. I've been there many times.
Pull that mic a little bit closer to you.
Is that better?
That's a lot better.
Okay, cool. Nice.
I'm also going to give you a little bit more gain.
Juice me up.
So
Daddy-o.
Wally, you don't know Wally, but Wally is a phenomenal producer. He produces a lot of the music that I do, and
Wait, what's his last name?
I don't know.
Does he play in a band?
He's played in a lot of bands. He used to sing for Skywind.
Yeah, I know Wally. He's produced me.
Okay, so you know Wally.
He gave me a great compliment once. He's like, you know what, man? I was like 19 at the time. We were doing a session, and my band was like kind of starting to open for him at the time. It's probably 2008. He's like, you know, you might be my favorite up and coming songwriter, man. And so I was like, thank you, man. He was like a big brother to me in the scene when I was coming
wow,
up,
that's
you know?
crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know you guys knew each
people
other.
like him and you know, Rev John and all those guys. I really looked up to those guys.
Oh, you know Wheeler too.
Yeah. He actually did
That's the
my
homie,
first
too.
the first solo album. He did the music video for that one.
That's dope. He's good at video, dude.
He's
really
wonderful. I want to
In
use
fact,
him again.
one of the only guys I know
clear.
locally. I shouldn't say that. I don't want to say it because I don't want to disparage anybody. There's a handful of dudes locally that are fucking dope making videos. Wheeler's one of them. My boy Anthony Darst is another one. He's been on the podcast. He's actually he just went on tour with one of the dudes from Bone Thug.
Nice. Give me his number.
Lazy Bone, maybe. I don't know. I
Okay.
can't remember his fucking
One of
number
the Bone
name.
guys,
I'll give you.
Bone
I'll give
Daddies.
you Anthony's number for sure,
Oh, yeah.
and I'll let him know you're calling so he doesn't blow you off. Because he's so busy is the point.
Yeah. That's good.
And then he
Busy's
just got
good.
off tour with fucking Vanilla Ice too.
Oh, badass.
And it was funny because I hit up Anthony because Anthony doesn't know I know somebody else in that crew, and I was like, "So is Trent still playing drums for Ice?" He's like, "I don't fucking know. I don't talk to the drummers." That's why I love Anthony because Anthony doesn't give a fuck.
And you're like, dude, I'm the drummer.
He started that company up there called Rock the Cities. You can barely see that hat. It's a pink hat on that top shelf.
Oh, that's
the pink
cool
and
hat.
black hat.
Yeah.
And basically what the idea was is he was going to do a mobile concert, literally, like on the back of a truck bed with some dope-ass bands, and then just slow roll that motherfucker through the city like
I've
on a
always
parade.
wanted to do
And he's
that.
actually done that. He pulled it
I'm
off.
in.
And it was fucking amazing,
anything.
right?
I'll toss
So
out
then-
candy. I don't care.
Then he wanted you play your fucking
No, I'm
your
saying
set
I
and
want to
shit.
be involved. I'll do any role.
And then he wanted to turn it into a show, like an actual show, like a
That's a
Netflix
good
thing, right?
idea.
So he created the whole promo, the trailer. He put on one of the events. He did one of them right here in Minneapolis, pulled the permits, had fucking police escorts, the whole 9 yards, shot the whole thing. And then he just struggled to sell it to Netflix or Hulu or whoever. So then he was trying
Tough.
to raise money, and he was trying to do it privately for a long time, and he just didn't get it done. So he started doing that. And then
So if
there's
any
another
investors
dude.
are listening,
There's another dude, by the way. Oh fuck, I don't want to fuck this up. It's David Rubin or Rubin. I don't know how you pronounce his
I
name.
know him. Yeah.
And I think his new company's name is Ruby Glass Media. I'm pretty sure that.
yeah.
And he does a lot of shit with like the super metal bands, like the fucking death metal bands, dude.
Mhm.
Like I'm pretty sure he's the one that did. God, I might be wrong. I should just shut up before I fuck this up. I think he's the one that did like the Reaping Asmodee albums and shit. I know
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
a big time photographer, and he's also into doing movies.
Mhm.
Well,
and Steve
There's some bad
Steve Lane
motherfuckers.
from that band.
yeah, Stephen Lane. Yep.
Yeah, he's shot some stuff for me. I've
He's
worked
a
with him
bad
a lot.
motherfucker too.
He's badass. I've done many a crew jobs with him, and yeah, shout out.
He's a bad
that
man.
guy.
He's a bad man, dude. He's a great guy too. All these guys we were
I
talking
love
about are
hanging out
great
with that
guys.
guy. He's great.
So, anyways, the mic thing. Wally for like I don't even know how long, possibly like a year, borrowed me an RE20 to
Nice.
do
That's
some
one of
music
his
stuff.
favorite mics. I think that's what he wanted me to sing. He's like, you know what, man? I think he was saying like that was Kurt's mic on In Utero or something, trying to convince me at the time.
Sure.
Because he knew I would do it. But
Well, he finally asked for it back. That was the moral of the story.
oh yeah,
So
he
I
finally
had
got
to-
it back.
So now I got to buy another one because
oh yeah,
I got
because you got
fucking
me on a 58.
yeah.
It's funny. Like producers have their kind of favorite mics. When we went out with Jack and Dino, we actually did a Modern Era album that didn't get released, and then the Soviet Machines record we did with Jack and Dino in Seattle, and his favorite mic is a 58. I couldn't believe it. He was like,
I've heard
throws
of
it on
this.
guitars. He's like, he's like, this was Kurt Cobain's twin, and this is the mic we used. It's just a beat up 58. And I'm like, I trust you, man.
I've heard about this before.
And,
yeah.
and then
not with this guy.
it would just blow your mind because you're like, oh, dude, like let's throw like a really really nice mic on it. He's like, I got $8,000 mics that don't sound as good as this.
Yeah.
And same with
I've heard this before.
Yeah, same with the vocals. He's like, well, what do you like to sing into? I was like, I don't know. I like an SM7 or an RE20 or if you got some crazy condenser, I'll do whatever. He's like, you're doing a 58. I remember the funniest part of recording was like, I had a song where I like was kind of doing up close, and then you have to yell, and in the studio the engineers are like, hey, can you back off on that yelly part? And I forgot for a second I'm on a 58, and he's like, why are you backing off? He's got a really deep voice. And I'm like, oh, that's just like what engineers in town
Proximity
always
effect,
tell me to do. He's like, you tell them Jack and Dino says fuck those people. Like, this is the most rock and roll thing I've ever.
You gotta send me
he's
his
amazing.
info. I gotta get him on the podcast. I want to talk to this.
If
dude.
he comes to Minneapolis sometimes, he's a really cool guy. I mean, the stories about they call him the Godfather of grunge. Like, you can't get cooler than that.
I want to talk to this guy. You got to give me his information.
I will.
That's how I got you on the podcast. Somebody else gave me your information.
I like.
You remember that?
Yeah. Well, who was it?
Jesse Weber.
That's right.
So how do you know Jesse, by the way? We never talked about this on the previous podcast.
A lot with
trying to get to know you better.
Yeah. It was Mods used to play a lot with his old band, Phoenix Philosophy, and now he's in the Failsafe. And I actually just opened for them a couple months ago at Dayblock, where we're
I think I saw
Mods
that
show.
actually. I think I saw that flyer.
Yeah.
I was trying to make it out, but I have this terrible habit of forgetting about shows. I'm not bullshitting.
No, it's hard.
So I even
It's
tell
hard,
people,
man.
I'm like, send me a reminder for this, and I'll genuinely
send
make
me
it
like
out.
a month out, a week out, and then like the day before,
And I
maybe
need
the day.
And I need a straight up text message the day of the show.
I have ADHD. All right.
Yeah, like if you want me to come to your show,
unmedicated.
unless I buy big time concert tickets, I put them in my Apple Wallet, I put it on my Google Calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Unless those three things happen,
At least 3, yeah.
bro, I'm
It's
gonna
hard.
forget about your show unless I happen to be on Facebook the night before or the day of
Yeah.
your show. And then even then, sometimes it's too late because now I already have
It's
plans
hard,
or whatever.
Yeah, it's
but
hard. It gets
most
harder
of
as
the
you get
time,
older too.
I just straight up forget, and I forget the day of. So I'll, like, your show's on a Friday. I'll go to work on a Friday. Know I'm going to your show on that Friday. I get home from work. I do a couple chores. I do something. Maybe I bang the wife, whatever. Who knows? But basically, I forget. And then the next morning, I'm like, oh, fuck, I was supposed to go to that show last night.
I know. I'm
And
as
I was
guilty
gonna
as
go to
anybody
that one.
about that.
I was gonna, and I even told the fucking boys. I said, on their little Facebook post, I was like, "Fucking remind me about this one."
Mm-hmm.
Guess what they did?
Not
They
right.
commented 5 minutes later, "This is your reminder." I'm like,
Oh.
"Go fuck yourselves, dude. Come on, we're friends. Like, that's not remind me on Facebook like everybody.
It's
We're
hard.
friends. Shoot me a text because I want to come to this one."
No, it's really hard.
Fuckers.
And like obviously we've been promoting the show pretty heavily, doing a lot of just different kinds of promo that we don't usually do. And I haven't done it in a long time. But I've got so many people who were like old fans, new fans, people through the film community, and like now we're a week out, and that's like the game that I have to play now is like I got to hit people up, keep them reminded a couple days before, day before, day of, because like sometimes you get that big day of push too.
Yep.
Of people. So
Dude, I used to sit on my phone. I'd go take a shit while I was working back in the day when I was young, and I'd fucking be in the bathroom. And this was way easier when you could just like make a text message and then literally just select all contacts and send it. I don't know why they got rid of that feature ever,
Mhm.
but man, I used to literally sit there, and then they got rid of that feature. So then I had to sit there and send one to each fucking person.
I know. I just had to do that, and it's impossible. And they
But
put
I
a
did
limit
it.
on it. They put a limit of like 300, and it's like, so you literally have to go through and then I'm like, did it actually send to them, or did it go to like some? Because like when people send me invites, there's like a new thing where it's like it doesn't. You know how Facebook like is pretty good about like, oh, somebody just commented on your thing. But a lot of the time, it's like it won't even give me the notification that
Yeah,
oh,
if you
somebody sent you that
invite me to
invite.
your event event, I'm not seeing it. The only time I see your events is if it literally comes up in my feed that somebody I know responded to that event, then it'll pop up in my feed. But I was talking about actual text messages, bro.
Yeah. No,
like actual fucking text messages sitting there. Even back in the day.
That's going to be my week, to be honest with you.
And people got mad at me, dude, because they found out I was doing mass text messages. And I'm like, do you have any idea what it's like to try to text 500 people?
It's so hard.
Like,
it's so hard.
I'm like, of course. And so what I actually did to make it a little bit more personal is I made one for the ladies and I made one for all the dudes. So the dudes, it was like, hey, bro. And for the girls, it was like, hey, girl. You know? And dude, I got busted by 2 chicks who happened to be hanging out with each other and they got the same message at the same time. And they thought I was trying to pull some shit. And I was like, listen, just because I've banged both of you doesn't mean like I'm trying to date both of you. Like I'm trying to invite both of you to my show. Yes, of course, I sent you a mass text message.
Well, that's part of the
How
game.
else do you message 500 people?
Yeah. Well, and people are like, oh, it wasn't, personal. But it's like, well, yeah, I don't... Nobody has like I'm okay
wish
with
the mass text. If you mass text me the day of the show, hey, just a reminder, we're playing tonight at ... I'm gonna be like, dope.
Exactly.
I don't need a fucking personalized message.
You're in the know. Like you've been in
That's
bands.
true.
Like
That is true. That's why I act all cocky like that. I'm like,
are
I don't need a personalized message.
You are initiated.
You might even get away with a Facebook Messenger, but the problem is
that's what I've been doing. Is like I'll send them the event and say, hey, this is the band's
I'm
first
talking
show
about the
in 5
reminder
years.
though, like the day of or whatever. Like
I might do that too.
You might be able to get away with that, and I'll see it. But again, I have to actually open that app in order to go there, and I always have notifications in Messenger, and I usually ignore them.
Yeah,
I'm in there way more often lately.
Yeah,
for unrelated reasons. I don't want to talk about publicly.
Okay, that's fine. We don't gotta get into it.
No, I have a couple group threads going in there with a group of people. So I'm constantly in Messenger now.
Those
but
can
I
be
won't
fun
be
or
for
annoying.
long.
I'm in like a few of those.
They're
and
extremely annoying, dude.
It's like I want to learn how to like. Can I like? I still want to be in the group. I don't want to leave the group, but can I like just turn off like the constant ding 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 every time somebody puts something?
Yeah, absolutely.
If it's like a work thing or a band thing, it's like
absolutely can.
Okay, I got to figure out that in settings. I need a social media manager.
One of the ones I want as a feature in those groups, right? Because like if you're in a Facebook Messenger group with a bunch of people,
yeah,
is not only can you just reply to the group, but if you want to talk to somebody specifically, you can @ and then type their name, and it'll still send to the whole group. But that person gets a specific ping. Yeah, somebody mentioned you in this messenger or whatever.
That makes sense.
It's cool, but I want to have that as the option, and that's the only time I actually get a ping is if you type @Jared and then send the message. The rest of it I want muted, so I choose when I go in there and catch up on the conversation. But that's
fair. That's fair.
It's too big of an ask. It is fair, but it's too big because they won't do it.
I know.
They want you on the app. They don't want you
on there.
They don't want you to have control. Oh god, it's so bad, dude. My life has been so much more peaceful since I fucking basically got off social media.
That's how a lot of my friends are. I tell people
I'm
are
not
like,
off.
People are like, how do you know when you
it.
like made it? And I'm like, well, I'm making it so relative now. But I'm like, someday I want to be at a level where I don't have to have a Facebook page to further my professional endeavors.
So how do you define making it?
I'd still be on Instagram, but making it? Well, I don't know. I feel like making it is...
I get this question a lot.
Yeah, and I've actually been reading a lot on the subject. But I think, like, I don't think in terms of, like... I had a friend once, and he used to say, we're going to be, well, he was a drummer in one of my bands, and he was like, I can't wait to be famous, And I'm like, well, what do you mean by fame? You mean you want to be recognized? You want notoriety for what you do? Some people want, money, monetary success. For me, it's always been, I want to make high level art and be successful at it, at least to the level of the standard day job. If you can be at that level, that's to me, that's success.
Yeah, I answered the question a very similar way.
From there,
I answered the question a very similar way. The short version is, if I can basically raise a family
Yeah,
being a full-time musician, that's making it.
absolutely.
for me,
100%.
So I like your answer. It's clear you're into acting because you're trying to make it sound as sexy as possible. But basically,
there really is a lot more money in it, to be honest.
Here's the
yeah.
thing, though, man. Kid Rock said this, and I can't believe I agree with Kid Rock because I don't like Kid Rock. I don't like anything about him. I just don't.
Does Kid Rock like himself? I don't know.
But
That's
here's something he said, and I think this is why Kid Rock made it, because he is a fucking genius, right? Because this statement he made is genius. Okay, there's only 3 reasons you pursue music as a job. When you want music to be your career, you do it for 3 reasons and 3 reasons only, and every other thing you give me can be funneled into one of these 3 reasons.
Okay.
Money, fame, or pussy. For real. It's that
sex,
simple.
you know.
Sex is pussy.
But yeah.
This is his phrase. I'm quoting him. But
yeah.
sex, girls, dudes, if you're into that.
Yeah.
Like that's pussy.
Yeah.
That's pussy. That's what it is. Okay. Fame is fame. That's super obvious. Money is where it gets weird, right? Because if you say you're in it for the money, people think you're greedy. It's somehow become this like gross, disgusting phrase. Oh, he just wants the money.
Of like money
or he
or
wants
like
to
selling
be rich.
out. Like
exactly.
Like the job that you take for the money as opposed to the job that you take for
But the reality is,
passion.
I want to be able to pay my bills doing music and podcasting, and I don't want to ever have to have a day job.
Yeah.
To me, that's making it. Whether
100%.
it's $100,000 a year or $1 million a year, to me is irrelevant because both of those are like the
sense,
fucking like the algorithm equals 1. You know what I mean? Like did you make it ? And my answer is if I can do that equals 1, then yes, because all I want to do is be able to raise a family and like live a normal life, go on vacations like normal people.
Absolutely.
It doesn't mean I need to have a fucking private yacht and a goddamn Tesla and all this other fucking bougie shit. No, I'm actually a pretty blue collar dude. And I like nice things. I do have expensive tastes, but it comes to things like cigars, colognes, my house probably, but it's not on flashy shit.
Yeah, you're not, you know.
I don't want to appear soft and I don't want to appear robbable. Right? So like my idea of a luxury vehicle is a really nice Audi, not a fucking Beamer, not a, you see what I'm saying? Like I'm just not that guy anyway. So, but I'm glad you admitted that because that's what needs to be talked about more. And we need to shift the Overton window to go back to where we started this conversation. We need to shift the Overton window. It's acceptable for you to say, I want to get paid, bro. Pay me. Like I put all this fucking work into my music, into my performance, into my stage show, into my singers, into your diets. Yeah. If you want to really take care of your voice, most people don't know the effort. That's why I quit singing. Taking care of my voice changed my lifestyle. It's fucking miserable.
Did you have cheese today? Did you smoke today?
No spicy food. No this. No that.
It's hard as
fucking sucked.
And you still might get on the mic and be like, you did everything right. And some nights it's just you're fucked.
And you do get the majority of the credit, but you also get the brunt of the criticism.
Absolutely. Because people will be like, well, I love that band, but I fucking hate that singer. You know.
Exactly. For me, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze as a singer. If the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, the what I got out of being a singer did not overcompensate for what I had to put into it. And I was like, I would much rather just be the guitar player, the bass player, or the drummer. I want to write the music.
You have a great voice for
podcasting, not for singing. Unless I sing like some old fucking like Vegas crooner. Yeah, like fucking I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. My voice is shit right now because I've been smoking cigars over the 4th of July weekend. But but same thing. That's my point. That goes exactly to your point, though. Is like literally a weekend of abusing my voice, and I can't even do crooner music correctly. Like I hear the raspiness right now.
It's fucking hard. Like every time I go into the studio, it's like, well, can't have cheese today. I can't. I shouldn't drink. Shouldn't drink anything that dries me out. You know, no smoking, and it's a whole thing. Did you run today? Is your lung capacity good? And sometimes it's just like you get on the mic and you're either having a good fucking day or you're not.
Right.
You know, and it's just there's something in the intangibles in that. But
yeah, I hated it, but no, and I think we need to shift that window though and make it acceptable for musicians to be like, I deserve to get paid. Yes, I'm doing this for fun because and this is what I've been saying lately. Like this is why I don't do things, quote unquote, for fun. You know why? Because everything I fucking do is fun.
Yeah.
Everything
if you
I
love
do
what
is
you
fun.
do, you'll never work a day in your life, right?
Even when I have to go get a day job, I make sure I enjoy that day job.
You have to.
And
yeah.
that's the point, is it's like, especially where I'm at in my life, dude, and I wish young people were more like this. If you learn how to have fun or learn what you have fun doing, and then you can figure out how to also make money having fun, bro, I'm going to take that fun over other fun every time.
That is the narrative of my fucking life, to be honest with you.
I love downhill
Yeah.
skiing, but I'm never going to make a decent living being a downhill skier.
Mm-hmm.
So might do that every once in a while. But God damn it, if I could make money doing podcasts, doing music,
Yeah. That's why I don't.
I'm going to do that. And that's why I keep coming back to it. That's why I will never stop being a musician.
Mhm.
I'll never stop being a podcaster.
It's in you. It's
because
that's who
I
you
make
are.
money
Yeah.
doing these things. Even if I'm not making $1 million a year,
Mhm.
they're still profitable. So when I can do, well, I don't know if profitable is the right word, but I'm at least
I know what you mean.
subsidizing
Yeah.
my costs, you know?
Yeah, and that's again back to your original question is like I just see success as like, is the kid in the mirror digging what I'm doing? Yeah, I'm doing stuff that I dreamed about when I was that age, and I'm getting paid to do it. I'm getting paid to go to the places that I love going to. If the answer is yes, then I'm doing it right.
When
And
you
this-
got the dual entertainer career going right now, so what's
I
your
do.
what's your like goal that you want to hit right now? Like what is left on the bucket list as a musician and or an actor
so much.
that you haven't accomplished? But what's the next most attainable thing? Like obviously for me, I haven't opened for Metallica yet, but I'm not doing that anytime fucking soon. You know what I mean? I gotta piss. Answer this question.
yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay. I want to travel and get paid internationally. That's probably a huge goal. No, that was the one thing, is that like every time a band I was on tour with, like the couple times I've been on tour with big bands, like I did a stint with Quiet Drive when they were still, I think they had that top 10 with Time After Time, and they were really still running hot at the time, and kind of towards the end of the emo era. And we went on tour and we did like the full US thing, and there was talk of like Japan or maybe go to Europe, and then that didn't happen that time around. And then the next time I went on tour a few years later, same thing. We did the full US run, 2-3 months of it, and then, oh yeah, we're gonna go to Japan, in 6 months. We got a label out there, blah blah blah. Didn't end up materializing. I think there's been at least 3 or 4 or 5 times where it was like Japan, Europe was supposed to happen. Actually, 2 or 3 years ago, right after we dropped the Soviets record, so probably about 3 years ago, I got a call from the drummer of one of the drummers from the Ramones, Richie, and he's on the same label as I am on. And shout out to DCGM Records. But at the time there was possible like Europe tour, maybe go all over, and it just didn't materialize at the time. So I've had that happen about 3, 4, or 5 times now.
So you've gotten tour blue balls, basically.
Yeah, I've seen the States, man. They're great, but I want to see the world.
Have
You
you
know, I'm
done
in my
any
30s.
international travel at all?
No.
None, really.
None. I know.
You should
It's
definitely do
shocking.
it.
Yeah, I know.
Because as you get older, it gets harder and harder.
I know.
And
I
you
never got to do
definitely
that
start
thing.
enjoying it less and less, because there's certain things like, I mean, obviously you're in great shape now. Like I'm still even in perfectly fine shape. But I'm thinking about these experiences like I got to start traveling now, because there's certain places I'm not going to be able to enjoy when I'm 70. Like I'm not going to
Exactly,
be
yeah.
able to go hiking in the mountains of fucking Tibet or wherever the
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
I just made that up. I don't know if there's good mountains to hike in Tibet.
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
what you
But
mean. Yeah.
like you got to start doing some things now.
Yeah, and that's one of my big goals is I wanna do a movie internationally. I want to travel and do shows internationally. So those are 2 big ones. And yeah, I want to start landing some of those. I've done a commercial. I'm gonna do my second commercial, and these are good like little regional ones and local stuff. But
And you can make good money being an actor who's not famous
exactly,
if you can
Yeah.
get the gigs.
Exactly. And that's what I'm learning is like I was not confident as an actor as a kid. I wanted to be a director. And then I just kind of got thrust into acting, and then I had an agent, and then got similar story to yours. I got 4 callbacks for Superbad as Jonah Hill's character.
Really?
I had to
No
do,
shit.
I had to do
That's
that scene
fucking wild.
where he's dancing with the drunk like aggro guy's girlfriend, and she gets the period blood stain on his. I had to do that fucking scene. Oh my god, so many times in front of so many fucking casting directors. 4 or 5 callbacks, and then like I kept getting it and being like, no, I sucked. There's no way. And they were like, can you gain like 30 pounds? And I was a wrestler at the time. I'm like, I can do whatever the fuck you want. I can lose 30 pounds next week. Like, if you're paying me, like, fuck you, Hollywood money. And at the time, it was called Untitled Teen Comedy.
No shit.
And then basically,
did you know what it was when it came out?
No, after
when Superbad came out, like when the trailer was going around, were you like, "That's the fucking movie"? Or did you? Or was it until you've seen it?
Yeah, I saw the movie and I was like, "Fuck!" I auditioned for that a lot, and I was not right for the role, and I knew I wasn't right for the role, but I kept getting further in the process. And then they did the same thing. The last day, they switched characters to see what I would do, and I didn't have
Michael
that scene.
Cera's role.
It was some other scene, yeah.
No, but they switched scenes, not the role.
I don't know if it was. I think they did both.
Okay.
I think they wanted to fuck with me.
Yeah, I think that's what they did to me too. I think they were like, let's see who the actual actors are. Okay, Q. We've narrowed them down to the blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Let's see who can actually act, because you should
now,
be able to,
I would be like, fuck you, I'm doing it.
So, for example, if they were doing this for a band, right, which is the worst way a band could ever come together.
Too, by the way, we'll get into that.
But let's say they're like, okay, well, he can sing, but you know what? Let's see if he can play guitar, because if he's a real musician, he should be able to jump on the guitar. You can do that, right? And same thing for me. Like, I don't know how well I can sing. Some people love and think I was a great singer. I think they're fucking delusional. But for me, you could even be like, well, let's see if he can play drums. And I'd be like, I can fucking hold my own on drums, as long as my chops aren't rusty. Like, I'm finally back to where, like, no, I'm actually like an okay drummer again. Like, even just 3 to 6 months ago, I was completely trashing myself. If somebody was like, oh, how are you doing on drums? I'm like, it's shit. It's all shit. It's all terrible.
It's all a daily practice. No one's ever like, I'm great at this. You're great at that because that is what you're choosing to daily practice to get better at. And that's the thing, is like, I think it was Conor McGregor was like, there is no talent here. None. This is obsession. I get up and I do this all fucking day long until and that's, for me, I've realized lately, I'm never going to be the greatest guitar player ever. And I have a unique voice as a singer, but I'm never going to be fucking Jeff Buckley. I'm never going to be Brandon Boyd. And that's okay. You know, I'm fucking me. But I always loved guitar players like Noel Gallagher, where it's like, yeah, he played all the solos in Oasis, but if you hear him talk, he doesn't know a fucking A7 chord. He doesn't know, like, he sits there with a producer in the studio and does it over and over and over. Except for that first record where they all were, because that was their rehearsal room, you know, so they just kicked it out live. But every other record started with him and an acoustic guitar, and he would figure it the fuck out with the producer, and then they would layer on top. And for me, that's where like the ADHD really kicks in, as like, fuck, that might be my superpower. Is like, yeah, it's hard for me to concentrate on a lot of things, but if I like focus in on something, everybody can go fucking have lunch, go to bed.
That's the opposite of ADHD, by the way. Like, what you're describing is the opposite of ADHD.
What am I describing? Autism?
Hyperfixation. Hyperfixation, I think, is what it is. Yeah.
But no, I think I just, when I
you already knew the answer. I'm like, that's not ADHD.
That can be a symptom of it. But no, I think that was always my thing, was like, I'm gonna sit there with the fucking track, and people will go to bed and get up again, and I'm still tweaking. I'm still trying to get better, and that's the only reason I'm any good. That's it. That's how I got to be a decent singer, or a decent actor, or anything. I don't consider myself some great actor. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking read this fucking scene so many fucking times, and I'll do this thing. I learned it from the Tarantino movie. DiCaprio's character, he just plays the tape recorder over and over all night and drinks whiskey sours and rehearses his lines. And I had to do that because that was the only thing that was going to make me a half decent actor. And I did that for a fucking year, and now I'm an okay actor. I have a lot of X factor, and that's I don't coast on that, but I rely heavily on that. I want to get better, obviously, all the time, but I'm never going to be fucking Robert De Niro, and that's okay. I'm going to be hopefully the best version of me,
Does anybody think they're going to be Robert De Niro when they start out?
If
And
they're
if they
fucking
do,
deluded,
if
if
they do, are they narcissistic and no one should take them seriously?
Probably.
I was listening to the Sunny podcast recently.
I
And,
love that podcast.
It's one of my favorite.
fascinating.
It's one of my favorite podcasts. It might have ruined the show for me.
A little bit, yeah.
It might have ruined the show for me, but I'm going to wait and see for at least another season. But because they might just be having a weird season right now. But like Charlie suddenly got smarter and like I don't know. Anyways,
That's what I've heard. It's
but
weird.
they were talking about casting and stuff like that, and they
Yeah.
were like, it's strange because as an actor, you almost are forced to have this sort of like I don't give a fuck aloof attitude in order to
It
get
carries
these
you.
jobs, because it's weird because in casting it's almost like if you're eager and you really want the part, they're not
they're
interested
sharks.
in
They
you
can
now.
smell the blood. You have to have an air of like not you don't give a fuck, but it's like effortless. It's like when I play a guitar part so many fucking times, and it's this weird little intricate thing, and then I get on stage and then like you're fucking you're prancing around like it's nothing,
Sure.
but it took 500 fucking hours of just like memorizing it.
Right.
I think that's what it takes. In my experience, is like because I do auditions all the time with people who are way better actors than I will ever be, and
But you're more prepared.
I try to be prepared, and even when I'm not as prepared as I'd like to be, I just kind of have an air of like, fuck it, man. I'm gonna go out there and like give it something, and give it personality, and even if it's not the right choice, a lot of the times, and I think this is a good sign when the director says something like, "Hey, can we try that again? But I'm gonna have you do it this way," because they're testing you to see if you're directable. It's like a musician. You could spend 5 years on an album that's fucking great. It's fucking Siamese Dream or whatever. But are you producible with with a producer? Like, can you go in there, be highly prepared, but also be totally willing to give it all up and try something else and not lose your shit? And I've met people who can't. They just can't do that. It's hard.
I think I might be that right now, or I have been that for the last few years. And I think that's really hurt me just to finish this one album, because and the reason for me in this, and you might be able to relate to this, you might be like, I can't relate to that at all. You're a fucking asshole, right? You might say that, right? Like it might
I doubt
be the
it,
truth.
but go with it.
But basically the idea is like, this is my baby, my project. It's not a normal band. This isn't supposed to be for
Highly
like
collaborative, yeah.
I mean, it is supposed to be collaborative, but no,
In a
it's
way.
not a democracy. It's not a normal band. And
Yeah,
here's
this is a
why.
fucking dictatorship.
And here's it's not even a dictatorship, but here's why. Here's the idea. I believe that if you want to be a successful musician right now, there's almost a formula in order to do it without having to immediately become famous and quote unquote successful, right? You need to be a part of a collaborative project like a normal band, probably like the Mods that you're in right now,
Yep.
or most of your bands that you've been in. You also need a solo project like you have, okay? Which this is what I'm trying to do, is basically my version of a solo project.
Yeah.
I don't want it to ever be called Jared Singer or the Jared Singer Project or any of
call
that.
it whatever.
I want it to be a
Yeah.
band name, but it's not a normal band. It's like my version of Tool. Okay.
Yeah, where it's-
Tool is not an actual democracy. Okay. Everybody has say because they're valued, talented musicians, but it's what's his name's band? It's that guitar player's band. I forget his name. Chris or fucking
Yeah.
Josh or whatever the fuck is.
Yeah, no, I understand.
It's his band.
Completely what you mean, and that's kind of I've
And
actually
then Maynard
yeah.
even has his own band, right? Maynard has fucking Pussifer,
yeah.
and then he's
and that's
also
very
in it-
much his baby.
and he's actually the best example of this, right? So he's a part of Tool, which isn't his band. Then he's part of a Perfect Circle, which isn't his band. That's the guitar player's band as well.
Is that James Iha from
I don't
Smashing
remember.
Pumpkins?
I don't
know he
remember,
was
but
in
it's
it at one point,
definitely
yeah.
not. Maynard is friends with him and just like threw vocals down on it, and it was brilliant. So they were like, I guess we're going to do
I
this
guess
for
we're
real.
a band. Yeah, I've done that.
Pussifer is Maynard's band. So
Yeah.
even Maynard James fucking Keenan has 3 bands. Okay.
Yeah,
now,
and that's
now
what,
he can get away with just 3 bands, but even he diversified into a fucking ferments wine, I guess would be the right, where you don't brew wine, you ferment wine, right? But what I'm trying to say, to get back to like normal local guys, especially coming up, you need a solo project, you need a normal band, and you have to have some version of an online social media presence. So for me, that's the podcast, right? I've got my podcast, I got my solo thing going, which I need to fucking desperately finish. And then I have room for one more professional venture. And the point is when I have those first two, those are my version of what our parents called, you need a fallback plan, right? You need to be able to become a plumber. Okay, well, that's what the podcast is for me.
Yeah.
Logan Stahlecker, fuck, who am I thinking of? I'm drawing a blank. One of these guys does like online guitar tutorials to learn how to play songs.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's got like fucking like 100,000 followers on Instagram. He's fucking killing it, right?
Yeah, there's a huge market for it.
Another guy does lessons, right? And he does them online, and he does tutorials for fucking not to play songs, but like here's something I do and blah 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 blah. His name's Mike Sallow, actually. The point is that third leg of that tripod can be anything I fucking want at any given point. If you hit me up and you're like, dude, I got a project, I need a drummer. It may not be a real band.
I was going to say, we'll have a
it might just be this one project I want to do, or if another buddy of mine, like maybe Jesse Weber, calls me up and he's like, dude, my fucking bass player broke his arm. Can you go on tour with us? The answer is yes. Because I have these other two things so solid as my foundation, I can do whatever the fuck I want. And if the failsafe suddenly blows up, the dude with the broken arm decides he never wants to do music again. I don't know why you would, but...
Yeah,
and they're like, Jared, do you want the job?
Stranger things have happened.
Now I can say yes, because I'm not, is what I'm saying.
You're setting up your pieces in a way where you can always win the game, and it's
not all eggs in one basket. But the real point is that the worst thing you could do for your music career is your entire identity is that you're the guitar player for ... insert band name here.
100%, and
that's because when that band breaks up, you're done. And the only way you make it now is to start a solo project, to start doing online shit, start your own band, start a new band, join a new band. But the music industry isn't set up for that anymore. So you need to be able to be an available musician. And the only way you can do that is by not relying on being the guitar player or the bass player or the drummer or even the singer of this band.
Yeah.
Because when something goes wrong, your career comes grinding to a halt. I got the fucking hiccups. It sucks.
No, it's all good. I completely agree with that. I think I used to,
and you're doing it, by the way, whether you knew it or not, whether you did it on
I don't
purpose
think I
or
really
not.
did, and it was cool to hear you say that, because that was the trajectory of my life. Was like I was obsessed with being a director, and then acting for a little bit, but I just didn't have the confidence at that time, as like a teen actor. But I learned a lot, and then I was like, I just want to be in a band. I just really want to be in a band. And then Soviet Machines was a thing, and it blew up like nothing I had ever seen before in my life. And then that all took a shit. And then I met Nick and Ben, and then we formed the Mods, and we were on that trajectory for 8 or 10 years. And same thing. We just hit a wall, and it was just kind of, we needed a break. And then I was left with like, well, I guess I have to make a solo record. And then I had to learn that the hard way too, put out an EP. I was like, it's okay. And then, trudge through that. And then lo and behold, Soviets gets back together. We start charting. And like, I got Hollywood Times calling me. We're doing this whole big blow up. And then we can't tour. And then
why couldn't you tour?
Well, we released the record, I think the week, like we went to go record, a couple weeks after COVID hit,
We talked about this on the last podcast.
We did. So, yeah. And so rode that out, and then it just kind of reached its logical, like, okay, the drummer's, he just had his first child. I'm very happy for him. His partner's great. They're wonderful people. We actually just recorded a song it'll go on something, but it had reached its end point. And so I'm like, oh, well, what do I do now? So I was like, well, I want to be an actor. I got a job when I did not know what I was going to do. I didn't know where I was going to go. I didn't know if I was going to go to LA or come back to Minnesota or what. And then I got a job to be in this PSA. And it was this badass thing. I'll show it to you after. But it was this cool, like, it almost looked like a CSI clip where I come out of this...
in an alley?
No, it was...
Because you sent me a video while you were on the set of something. You were sending because we talk. Most people don't understand this, but like when guys come on the podcast, it's interesting because oftentimes we become buddies, and then there's this like it's almost like you're dating. There's like this period as you ramp
Very
up to the
intimate.
podcast, then we get to know each other really well on the podcast, and then even if we already know each other, there's this thing that happens like for the next 2 weeks to almost a month and a half. Like there's still communication and correspondence that happens after the podcast,
which is good.
and it's just, and then because we're dudes, we slowly drift apart and then slowly come back together.
Yeah,
'cause
life happens.
Dudes are
yeah.
different, right? We
Yeah.
just, it's whatever.
Well, it's hard.
But you were sending me
staying
a
in
bunch
touch
of
with
shit.
people is
You were
hard.
on a scene for a fucking short film. You were on the scene for, I thought you said a commercial at one point, or
Yep,
on
I
set
did-
for a commercial.
I did a commercial for the Minnesota Lottery, so I was at all the gas station pumps like for like 2 months. All my friends were calling me.
Really?
So yeah, that was my first big commercial, and I've done like 15 short films now. I've done PSAs. I've done like music videos. I went to Chicago and did a music video for a band from Croatia.
Really?
Yeah.
They came to Chicago to film a music video?
No, they the director is originally from there, so he lives in Chicago proper now. And they liked my headshot. They liked my background. They said, "We want you to play this character. Will you come to Chicago and we'll pay you?" And I was like, I have family in
So
Chicago.
what, you just walked around Chicago and played this part?
Yeah, it was like I got
That's
to go in
pretty
one of their
cool.
old school boxing gyms. So I had like a boxing, like slow-mo, cool, like Rocky stuff. And then he's running around the city, and then he gets in a fight in the park, and it's all in slow-mo. It's cool. I can't wait till it comes out.
Can you tell us the name of the band? Can you?
It's very hard to pronounce. It's all in Croatian, and I don't want to fuck it up on
Fair
there.
enough. Fair
But when it comes out, we'll update people. But yeah, a couple of features. Because I did a feature back in 2017 when the mods were still in our first incarnation, and I loved it. It's called Drafted 2035. It's on Amazon. You should all go watch it on Amazon Prime.
Is it free on Amazon Prime, or do you have to buy it?
That's a good question. Probably a buy. It's probably like $2 or something.
You should know that.
I think I did have to buy it.
Did you?
Even though I signed up for Prime, I think I still had to buy it for $3-4.
Well, that's
But
that's why I
I'm
asked,
not
because
sure.
Prime
I was a
isn't
little
actually
drunk at the time. Full disclosure.
well, and this is why I asked that question, is just for clarity, because Prime, like Apple TV, is not actually a streaming service.
Yeah,
They have included content,
yeah,
but it's also a marketplace to go buy shit.
absolutely.
So you can buy something, you can rent something, whatever.
God
and
damn it, Jeff Bezos.
No matter how much, well, it's Apple too. No matter how much you pay for any version of their subscription,
Nothing's ever really free. Is
the
it?
whole point though is that, like, yeah, we give you all this content just like Netflix, but then we also have the ability for you to download, rent, buy XYZ.
Yeah.
It's cool if you're, especially if you're like,
diversifying.
well, especially if you're like behind that wall. There's Amazon Music, Kindle, there's all those Amazon services. For me, I got an Apple, I have an iPhone, so Apple TV works for
I'm
me.
a lifelong Apple guy. It's just more user friendly for the arts for me. And the only
Yeah, you still can't record on an Android phone.
and that's
I can record
every,
legit demos on my fucking phone.
I
Like,
know,
it's actually...
the technology has gotten weirdly cool.
I don't even need
but-
an entire iPad anymore is the point. Like, I can
Gorillaz
actually...
did their like last record on an iPad,
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
the
And the best
technology is
part-
amazing.
The best part is if you do have a Mac, you can do the demo on your phone and then literally save it to GarageBand and then open that GarageBand session in Logic.
Yeah.
And like
keep
literally
working
just be
on it.
like, okay, I might even re-record this part. But I remember one time I did this song through an Apogee Jam. You know what the Apogee Jam is? For people that don't know, it's probably the best interface to where you can take an electric guitar and plug it directly into your phone.
Oh, cool.
And it actually sounds pretty decent. It's surprisingly decent, actually.
They've gotten really good.
So, but this was also back in the day when you could put that in and then you had a headphone out, right? So
Oh,
I
yeah.
could actually listen to it and monitor. I haven't used it since you got to go Bluetooth because there's a slight delay in the Bluetooth.
Yeah, I can't do that.
It's bullshit. But anyways, point being is there was this one time I recorded one track and I actually used an acoustic guitar because that's all I had at the time. Put it in GarageBand and then put distortion on that, and it sounded so terrible. I had to layer it and compress it with a bunch of other effects,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it sounded awesome. and I couldn't replicate that sound on an electric guitar, so I just pulled that track in. I was like, we're using this one. And
That's
people were like,
awesome.
that sounds amazing. Where'd you get that? And I was like, I made it on the phone. No one believed me.
That's the age we live in.
No one
you know?
believed me, but you can totally do that. And you
No,
can go
it's
right
amazing.
from your phone to your PC because the cloud works seamlessly as well. And the point is like, I don't care how superior Android is, non-musicians will never understand how superior Apple can be. That's my point.
Absolutely. And again, I just think for me, I grew up with it. We were always a Mac family, and I learned how to edit on it. I learned how to do everything on it. And as a musician and an actor and a filmmaker or whatever I am, editor, it's just I will always be in that world. And it's just so
It's so much
I can
better
figure
for
it
editing.
out, you know.
It's for editing music, video, even photos.
Yeah.
It's just superior.
And
It
it's
is.
funny, every person who is like a like dug in on the PC, right? Like does not want to switch to Apple. I'm like, what's your reasoning? Did you grow up with it? Are you like why are you tied to it? The number one thing that people say is, I just don't like how Apple makes you buy all these different chargers, then they keep changing them, and like they always want more of your money because you have to get the new charger. I'm like, that's your argument? That's what you're going with?
Well, and that
You know?
happened once.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that literally happened once.
If that's the one thing that's making you not switch, it's like, come on, man. But I digress.
No. And just to defend the fucking Android and the PC people, PC is officially superior for gaming and live streaming.
of course,
and
of
it's
course.
not close. It's not close at all.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's why I
It's
have
not my-
such
that's
a
not my wheelhouse,
big
but-
pain in the ass with this podcast is because I'm trying to do it because I only have a Mac, and I'm like, I've
Oh.
officially admitted a long time ago I gotta fucking build a PC because when I
yeah.
do
You
it,
can
I want
personalize those,
to build
yeah.
a super PC, like a real
Yeah.
production level PC.
That is one
And
thing
it's
that
just for
PCs
the
can do.
podcast.
Yeah.
It's just going to be for the podcast, bro.
Yeah, it's your
It'll be for nothing. Well, not just the podcast. It'll be for live streaming. That's the point. It'll be for gaming and streaming. That's it.
Yeah.
I'll still always have a Mac for editing video, for recording music, for even when I want to do photo stuff, which I don't do a lot of. But
totally.
yeah, man. I mean, I think those tribalism arguments of which one's actually better is a naive and short-sighted argument. The question
It
is, and I think your mindset is right. Like you're like, yeah, but why?
Yeah.
My question is not why, but what are you using it for? Because that's the real thing.
Yeah. What's your
If you
what's your
want to
platform?
fucking mod your shit out and fucking
that is one thing that
Then
it's
go
harder
PC.
to do on a Mac. Yeah.
yeah, you can't do that shit on
Yeah.
a Mac. You used to, but not anymore. So
That's what. Yeah, I know people who like they'll get a Mac and they'll purposely get like an older model because you can like find ways to like cram more like I guess RAM or whatever in them.
Mhm.
But they have like a lock on that now, so what you get is what you get, which
Yep.
seems a little weird. But I don't know computer.
no,
I'm
you're
not that
100%
smart.
correct. Several years before this one came out, I think this is 2015. Several years before this one came out, you could still open the back of it, and there was extra ports, so you could just literally install more memory,
Mhm.
put it back together if you knew what you were doing. Now you can open it up, but there's
Yeah.
no more slots. There's just
Yeah.
nothing you can do.
Now I just like for editing stuff. I've learned through my filmmaking buddies like we'll just edit it from the hard drive, and then you'll never have problems. Like I could probably edit on a fucking Air or a fucking iPad or something if I wanted to.
That is true. I've heard
Yeah.
that a lot, actually, from a lot of people. You can't store anything on your Mac. It'll run perfectly forever, but you have to have an external hard drive. Where I ran into a
Yeah.
problem is I don't have any more fucking ports. Like, I've got
Oh.
3 fucking monitors. I've got 2 goddamn interfaces. I got 3 fucking cameras. There's only so many
Yeah.
inputs on the fucking
Yeah,
Mac
yeah.
that you can use, you know? So, yeah, I was like, well, there goes the external hard drive. I guess I'm live streaming the fucking podcast. Because within days of doing the podcast, I think I did like 5 in my first few weeks. My first 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
And because I was having so much fun doing it. And within, yeah, like I said, days, it was like my computer was already bogging down. And I was like,
Yeah.
I can't store this, edit it, cut it down. I can't do any of this. I have to just figure out how to live stream. And that was a whole other animal because Mac is not friendly for live streaming. It's just not. It's just,
No.
there's
No, you
the
wanna go PC.
processing power. Like, I'm using fucking damn near 20% of the CPU right now just to do this dumbass podcast. That's how fucking burdensome. And a big part of it is needing multiple monitors. So I have 2 extra monitors, and then I split those off into this one. I have 2 more over there for when I'm recording music. I can literally put my fucking mixer on one screen, put the actual feed tracks next to my drum, so I can sit there and watch, like, oh, this is where that spot's coming up. Don't fuck this. And same thing when I want to punch in, I can like look to my right, and I got mouse right next to the drum set.
Damn.
Like, all right, we're punching in right here.
You get complex with it. That's awesome.
Well, it's a laziness, is what it really is. I don't want to keep getting up and walking across the room and doing something.
Oh, that makes sense.
Same thing. That's why this mixer is on a fucking rolling stand. So I can literally take this mixer, roll it next to my drum set. So when I'm like, that fucking snare drum is too goddamn loud in my monitors, in my headphone, boom, I just turn the snare down. I don't have to go do anything else because I don't want it changed in the program. I just want the monitor level down.
Totally.
Mixer that. It's pre-fade. It's fucking great, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so all my innovations for everything I've ever done, pure laziness. I don't want to work that hard.
That's a lot.
How do I find it? It is, dude. It is. That's why
ease of use.
You ever heard the phrase, you give a lazy man a hard job and they'll show you an easy way to do it?
Absolutely. Well, there's
it's one of the most fucking profound phrases or cliches to ever be invented, because it's true, dude.
Well, I know Jack White, his aesthetic in like the White Stripes was like, he's like, I'm fighting not just technology, but ease of use. And that was like, he's like, if I know I have to go to that piano part there, and I have to switch here, and I have to turn my guitar off, the piano's right here, and I know that I can get there, I put the piano just a little bit further away. And he just likes, and that's why he liked that kind of plasticky airline, 60s guitar, is like, it's never going to be perfectly like set up like a Strat or something, or a Les Paul. You almost have to fight it, and that was his whole thing. And that's why he is a badass in our generation, because it's like he's progressive, but like in an old school way. He's like taking from the past into the future. And I think that's a cool way to innovate, I guess.
He is fucking incredible.
I know.
Jack White,
you should get him on here. Where you at, Jack?
I wish.
One of these days.
I'd love to talk to that dude, man. That's
Me too.
that's my only
list.
real problem is I know a bunch of successful people, and just getting them, because a lot of them are even like, yeah, I'd do your podcast, but I refuse to do remotes because remotes suck.
That'd be weird, yeah.
They're horrible.
That'd be like
even when you know the person.
Yeah. Unless you had like a funny, like a side man, like I'll be in here and you can interview some famous guy.
Fucking funny. Then.
Exactly. I'll be
if
in
I'm
like
gonna have a side man, you better be the
something.
funniest motherfucker.
What does Joe
on the
Rogan
planet.
wear, like that fucking weird space suit?
Oh, that yeah, when Duncan's on.
yeah.
They wear a different costume every time.
I should have worn my fucking green gorilla suit. What the fuck is wrong with me? Trying to be all professional.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Next time I'll go full unhinged.
I'll tell you what.
That? I'll bring the full band in and we'll go real weird.
I'll tell you what. We did a Halloween show one year.
Oh yeah, I like this already.
And everybody agreed to wear costumes. And then when everybody showed up, 2 people didn't wear costumes. They were like, yeah, fuck that. I'm not doing that. And the other dude wore a fucking suit that was colored purple. And he was like, I'm just going to kind of like go as like a casual Joker. And I'm like, dude, I'm wearing a ghillie suit. like I look like I'm in Call of Duty, and you fucking assholes are all sitting here dressed normal.
Left me high and dry.
I was like, you
what the
assholes,
fuck?
dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so fucking mad.
I think there's a Sunny episode on that.
Is
like,
there?
Dude, yeah. Where they were supposed to go as Mario and Luigi, and Mac goes he's like, I'm with a sexy vampire look,
Have you watched the new season yet?
Not yet.
So do you remember the chess scandal that went down this year?
Yes.
With the dude and
I've heard that
the
Frank
Bluetooth
plays,
anal beads?
Yeah, I remember like
they parody that. And Frank's the one with the anal beads. And at the end, I'm not ruining anything. At the end, they're hitting the anal beads so hard. Frank's trying to move his chess piece, and he picks it up, and and then he's struggling to even communicate, and he's trying to be like, you don't have to do this. He's like, this is torture. He's like stuck.
The things that they get him to do, I mean, it's just never not going to be funny. Like Danny DeVito doing all that hilarious shit. He's a national treasure.
Danny DeVito is a national fucking treasure. I was just going to say that. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Love it. He saved that show too.
I don't know if he saved it, but
No, he literally did. They talk about the first season.
oh, you're right.
It did
No,
okay,
no,
but
you're
it was
right.
about
You're
to
right.
get canceled. The network was like, okay, people like it, but we're not going to renew you unless you get us a star.
A name. Yep. You're
And
right.
then Danny DeVito came in and basically like he saved the show. I mean, I think
Yeah.
they talk about it a little bit on the podcast.
No,
on
you're
those
right.
earlier
Because I have
because
heard
he
that.
starts right season 2,
Mhm.
and
Yeah, we'll renew you, but you got to get a name.
yeah, and they just kept throwing stuff at him. They're like, "There's no way he's going to do this." He's like, let's
yeah,
do
but
it.
apparently, apparently, one of Danny DeVito's kids was a huge fan of the show
Oh, that was their in.
and played it for him, and Danny DeVito loved the show. So by the time they got to him, he was like, "Yeah, I love the show. I'll totally do it." And they didn't even, if I remember right, they didn't even know exactly what role Frank was going to play, because they had actually talked about Ray Liotta as
That would have been interesting.
their dad.
That would have been interesting. I don't think
DeVito.
he would have done as many of the crazy, but maybe, I don't know.
Dan,
Now I'm like thinking about it.
I
It's gonna,
miss
like,
Ray Liotta, dude.
he was one of my favorites. I love Ray.
Did you
Liotta.
see Cocaine Bear?
No.
It was literally the last movie he filmed before he died, which
Yeah, 'cause he just
ironically
passed away. Yeah.
wasn't the most recent movie of his to come out.
Mm.
So like there's a different movie that just came out, but he actually filmed that before Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear's the last movie he filmed before he died. I think he
Damn.
died of COVID, didn't he?
I'm not sure. No, I need to see that. I think Elizabeth Banks directed that one. It's
Cocaine
crazy.
Bear?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I've heard from everybody that it's good. Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's entertaining as shit.
Yeah.
Like that's
if you
the point,
go in
dude.
like, okay, I'm not looking to see fucking, an award-winning film, but it's a good flick.
It's pretty horrific. And the best part is the spin-offs that have already been greenlit before Cocaine Bear even came out. Meth Gator.
Bath Salt Shark. Bath Salt Sharknado 4.
I can't remember what it was, but there was something like, bath salts, or I can't remember what it was, but goddamn, it had me dying laughing, because it's like, as soon as one movie works at all,
Yeah.
before it's
Whip
even
It
in
Sloth.
30, Whip It Sloth. He's moving even slower.
Okay, that's good. I'm stealing that one. Fuck.
Whip It Sloth. He's moving even slower. PCP Tiger.
Fucking scary.
You ever done PCP?
No.
I've never done PCP, but I seen somebody on PCP once. So check
Doesn't
this
look
out.
fun.
I was in the parking lot of
Of course it was in a parking lot.
I was in the parking lot of Metrodome. I was in the parking lot of the Metrodome. I'm getting ready to go to the Metallica concert. And
Oh.
there's a car rolling through the parking lot, clearly looking for a parking space.
PCP? Oh.
And they're doing 1 mile an hour. It couldn't have possibly been any slower, is my point.
Mm.
I think the brake lights were even on. You know what I mean? Like they were really, because they were just looking for, and there's people everywhere walking
Yeah.
around. So insanely slow.
Yeah.
Like you could walk as fast as the car was going. That's how slow the car was going.
You'd probably pass it, yeah.
Like at the state fair when the cops come rolling through,
Yeah.
like, let me get out of your way real quick and get in front of you and get out of your way. That's how slow they were going.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, the back door of the car opens up, and this girl, the door opens, and she steps out and fucking face plants. And she gets up and has no fucking idea what just happened. People start talking to her. I was a kid, so I didn't run in there and talk to her. I didn't even try to help her.
90s or something?
Oh, yeah, late night. And I found out one of the side effects of PCP while you're on it
Yeah.
is time slows down. So a lot of things seem like they're in slow motion.
You're like an Interstellar.
So the car was going so slow, she thought they stopped. So she goes to get out, and she turns sideways. The car's going this way, and she goes to just step out. Bam, loses her footing, smashes her fucking face directly on the concrete.
Oh.
And like a sober person would get up screaming, crying, there's blood everywhere. She didn't. she just stood up like she had just gotten slapped really hard. Like she's like, what happened? Yeah, I've never done PCP, but like that's the only thing I know about PCP. And I don't even know if that's 100% true. But I know what I fucking saw, and
just
that
assumed
bitch
it
was
was PCP,
not.
yeah.
No. People told me
Oh,
she
okay.
was on PCP
And that makes sense.
because other people went up and talked to her and helped her out and shit. And then
Okay.
people I was partying because we were tailgating. This is back in the day
Reliable
when, like, even as a teenager, you would fucking tailgate a little bit before a
Yeah.
concert. So
Mhm.
I was fucking. I just
The
popped
good
a bunch
old
of
days.
mushrooms. I just popped
Nice.
a little bit of ecstasy. They called it hippie flipping back in the day.
Oh yeah, that's what. Yeah. So that's hippie flipping. What is candy flipping?
That's
similar, right?
Ecstasy and LSD.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Never
God,
did
people,
that one.
People are wild, man.
I had a
I
couple.
cannot. Oof.
I had a
little
couple-
goes a long way. The couple times I've done those trips.
Which ones? Acid.
I've done acid a couple of times. I did mushrooms a couple of times when I was younger. It was so hard for me to like that in your mouth is so gross. And I had heard about like we'll do it in like a chocolate bar. I never had that luxury. It was like every couple of years, some random hippie kid would be like, "You want some mushrooms?" He had like a nasty baggie in his
Sure.
pocket. I'm like, I'm 18. Yeah, let's go. And then he's like, you got to hold it in your mouth as long as you can. And it's just the grossest thing. You just want to vomit.
That's how we did them when we were kids too.
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
you'd
it's so
mash
bad.
them, mash them,
Ah.
and then I'd try to put them in my lip like a chew,
Oh, I
and
hate
just
it.
really get it into my tissues.
That needs to get.
There's very little evidence to back that up, by the way.
I'm sure.
Like
That's-
you
yeah.
can pretty much just swallow them whole.
And it
There's
maybe
a
it'll take a
very
little
good
while- yeah.
chance that it'll fucking pull everything out of there and you'll be fine.
yeah.
But the secret to getting a good chew, if you want to go that route, because it's habitual for me when I do them now.
You got
I have to chew the shit out of them because it's just ingrained. I know there's no real evidence to back that theory up, but that's still the way I came up. So that's the way I do it. So I discovered a little trick, a little secret. Sour Patch Kids, bro. So you
with
take
the mushroom.
yeah, like at the exact same time. So you
Okay.
take the mushroom.
It's like you're
Like if it's a-
chasing it.
If it's a long stem, right? I take the stem
Whoa.
and I fold it, even if I have to break it, into the same length of the Sour Patch Kid. And if it's a big fatty, then I do 2 or 3 Sour Patch Kids. And I take that whole little bundle and I put it in. And the flavor and the taste and the texture of the Sour Patch Kids is so overwhelming.
It's gummy.
There's
and sweet and sour.
Yeah, and you're fucking, it's fucking sour, right?
tart.
Absolutely no taste of
that's tart.
mushrooms. Absolutely no taste of mushrooms whatsoever.
You figured out the secret.
It is the secret. It
Well, there
really
you go,
is the
kids.
secret.
Better way to do
Actually,
your
there's one
drugs.
more secret. There's one more secret. What a lot of guys do, the real G's, is they take like a weed grinder
Yeah.
and they grind it up into a powder. Then they put it in
Yep.
capsules, like gel caps.
Yep.
And so they just
Put it
know
in a
how many
chocolate bar.
grams or micrograms or whatever are
Yeah.
in a gel cap.
Just-
Yep. And they fucking do as many as they want while they're just drinking a beer or
Yeah.
orange juice or whatever the fuck.
What do you
get.
think
But
about
that takes work. That's like,
That's a whole
and
thing.
you should weigh them too, so you know what's in there.
God, yeah, I don't have time for that. What's your opinion of microdosing? That seems to be
It's whack.
you don't
That's
think
my honest opinion, man.
some people are like it cured my depression, and I mean, there's
It can.
yeah,
It can, but macrodosing
it has
is there's
medicinal
more
effects.
evidence. There's more evidence that very infrequent heavy usage will actually do more benefit.
okay.
So like
I'll have to do some digging.
so here's what I know what I'm talking about, but I don't want to sound like I'm a fucking know-it-all. So basically the idea is that the microdosing will correct any chemical imbalance, right? But there's more and more data and research coming out now that depression is not led by a chemical imbalance. Like that entire theory is pushed by Big Pharma. And there's again
yeah.
no credible evidence. Now that Big Pharma is kind of under the gun, all their claims are being investigated one by one, and almost all of them are lies.
Is that the next song you're gonna play? Because that's a good segue.
Sure, let's do it. So basically what they figured out is that if you have I don't want to fucking say the wrong thing, so I'm just going to say what I got to say.
Story of my life.
Basically, macrodosing versus microdosing. Macrodosing forces you to have, the only way you can describe this would be a spiritual encounter. Like a really intense, introspective, even if you don't believe in God, doesn't matter. That's not my point. It forces you to do work during the trip, like on yourself.
True.
And if you take enough mushrooms, and this is the point, that's why we call it macrodosing, is because you take so much mushrooms, you start asking yourself questions you don't actually want the answers to. And that's where the real self-work begins. However,
some people don't want to do that.
All it does is force you to confront things that you didn't know were issues. And you could even take them for selfish reasons, right? So you could take them like, I want to work on my laziness. And then the entire trip is focused on how you don't respect your wife. And you didn't even know you didn't respect your wife. Your wife may not even complain about you not respecting her, but the mushrooms are telling you, you don't respect your fucking wife, dude. You need to fucking get your shit together.
Interesting. Yeah.
However, when the mushroom trip ends, that's when the actual work begins, because it will help you rebuild neural pathways and literally rebuild parts of your brain that are broken or decayed or shorted out. But the real health benefit, man, is from forcing yourself to work on something you didn't even know was a flaw. And if you do it right, you'll feel those benefits 6 to 9 months later. So for me, the last one I did was in October. Bro, I was in a fucking weird place until about March or April. In about March or April, I kind of came out of that hole and I was like, oh, wow, I feel really good all of a sudden. Like, normally this time of year, I fall into a depression. Normally this time of the year, I start doing this. And I'm like, I'm not doing any of those things. Why? I was like, oh, because subconsciously, all that shit from that mushroom trip, I've actually subconsciously been working on it over the last. So you don't even have to actively work on it. The only thing you have to actively do is not fall into your old patterns. Absolutely. And that's why I'm not into the microdosing, because mushrooms wear off. So if you're taking a very small amount, you're never going to be forced to address certain issues, and you have to take breaks in between. So as you might be repairing some neurological pathways, if you're not doing the fucking work that I'm talking about, those neurological pathways will immediately fall off and regress and go back to the same fucking bullshit you were doing before. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense to me, because, I was really relating to all of what you just said, because my experience with psychedelic drugs, which is somewhat limited, is exactly that. I have never been like I've had friends who were like, yeah, I just took 12 hits of friggin' acid, or, like,
that's a crazy amount of acid. Unless it's weak. That's a crazy irrational amount of acid.
I would have friends who would do the festival thing, and I was never part of that crowd. I was like, my teens and 20s was like, I like drinking a little bit and smoking some weed, and that's about it. I like rock and roll. I like film. I like, trying to take care of myself. So with psychedelics, I was always very careful. I was like, I know my limits, and I don't ever want to go past a certain, like, insane limit, but it would always happen that way. It was like every couple of years, it was like serendipitous. It was like I would be in a rut of like, I don't like my job, or I'm in the wrong relationship, or my band's stagnant, or my career is stagnant, or I'm not sure where my life is going. And for some reason, that's always when somebody would be like, hey, on Friday, I have a couple of hits of LSD. Do you want to do that? And so for me, it was a very rare thing, and it would have a purpose of like you said, like a spiritual journey, like, like peyote, or like these things that was very much it's supposed to be a journey of self-discovery, and that's how it always affected me. So I kind of respected it as that, like every time I ever took it. And I remember every time I would do it, and then the whole night I'd be up all night, and your friends are watching some crazy psychedelic movie, or Pink Floyd The Wall or whatever. I was never into that. That seemed really basic to me. I was like, I'm gonna sit in a fucking room and literally it just hits you like, you're not doing what you were supposed to be doing at this age. Like, why the fuck aren't you making records? Why the fuck aren't you doing this? And it would be like that inner voice saying like, dude, you need to step it up. And every time I would be like, fuck, yeah, I have to make that change. I remember once I did it with some of the guys from the crew, and one of the guys was like, shit, it's all hitting me. And he's like, it scares me, because he's like, I know what I need to do. I just don't know if I'm going to do it, And I was like, I think that's the point. You know, that's your mind and your unconscious mind or whatever you want to call it telling you, hey, wake the fuck up. This is what you need to do. And it's not going to be easy. And I think that's hard because people, you know, we want things to be easy. And that's, I don't know. I think struggle is a huge part of growth. You know, without it, you just don't, you know.
Dude, and what you were saying is like, oh fuck, now I'm stuck on this camera. Hold on, let me fucking fix this. Hopefully people don't get irritated. The listeners won't even know that anything's happening. But one of the things you said about like sticking yourself in a room by yourself, that's the shit.
That's fucking
like,
hard.
that's the point. Is like,
yeah, it's not meant to be all fun and games.
Yeah, we're not here partying, having a recreational time. We're doing introspective work to become a better version of ourselves. Whether
100%.
it's a kinder human being, whether it's being a better leader, whether it's being a better musician, whether it's figuring out your purpose in life, it's all basically the same. It's basically the same conclusion.
Yeah.
To whatever road you take to get to that point. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So, like, I don't even really, honestly, dude, I don't really even enjoy, here, come closer to the table, just a touch. You're falling out of the camera. I want people to be able to see your pretty face. Yeah. And scoot this way a touch, too. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. There you go. That'll be good.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah, now people
More
can see a lot better.
There we go. Oh, lovely. Look at that.
Yeah,
Look at
so
that pit saying, you like that?
So a lot of people want to take it recreationally, and I don't actually
Me neither.
like tripping around other people. Like, my favorite thing to do is to get this room spotless clean, turn on the multiple lights, right? And I'll turn on the fucking side lights down by the walls there that slowly change color. I got one over here that does the same thing. They connect to my phone too, so I can like set different patterns or whatever. And I fucking put on the headphones and I just sit here and listen to music all by my fucking self.
That's the way to do it.
And there's no distractions. There's no people fucking with me. And I don't have a choice where I go in that trip. But the short way to, we got to play a video because I got to take another leak, but I want to finish this thought. Basically, my mission is to talk to God. Like, I want to see the devil. I want to see Jesus. Whatever you want to fucking say. I'm not trying to fucking sit here and giggle, although that does happen, even by myself.
It's a byproduct
I'll come up
of
with
it.
an idea or a thought, and I will crack myself up, and I'll be laughing for 20 minutes straight.
Oh, absolutely.
And then there's times where I'm in tears. I'm in deep tears. There was one time where I spent an hour and a half laying under this table on the floor, cuddled with my dog, because she was down there sitting in front of the fan or the heater, whenever it was I was doing it, I don't remember. And I put my face next to hers just to like, I was like, what is it like being down here in your world, right? And when you're that close to the ground, and I'm watching Peanuts everything she's doing, she's not just paying attention to me, she's looking for mice, she's living. And I was like, this is an extremely stressful lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that all of a sudden it dawned on me. I was like, this is why animals live such short lives. It's not because of anything other than stress. They have such a stressful lifestyle.
They're like,
yeah, and everything is so stressful for them in hyper tension that that's an old dog is 15. You know what I mean? Like it made a lot of sense to me all of a sudden. Like, I really learned a lot about nature and the world, and it's like, oh, the more stressful your life is, the shorter your life is. And then all of a sudden, as soon as I learned that, I was like, oh, I need to manage my stress. It's killing me. And I learned that through watching my dog. It was just bizarre. Dude, these things, whether they're actually true or not, you're most likely going to find something else that genuinely helps you, especially if you can figure out whatever your brain is trying to tell you, whatever the universe is trying to tell you, and you figure out a way to actually implement it. I think it's huge, dude. Let's play another song. I gotta take a leak.
Let's do it.
I fucking haven't drank like this in a long time. So I'm pissing. I'm not even drunk, but I'm just pissing like a racehorse right now.
Beer will get you like that.
Oh, it does. That's why I fucking love it, though.
Break the seal.
All right, so this song, let's see. Let's make sure MIDI player's on. Okay, we're good to go here. All right. This song's called Above the Sun. No, sorry, Under the Gun. I'm 12.
I was gonna say, are you gonna play that one clip again?
Got everything you said you'd need to keep us where you wanna be. Spilling blood on a blank white page, caressing all the thoughts we made. I'll play the fool if you be my fate, 'cause you're so cool but you can't relate to all of your dead heroes that didn't wanna fade away. Close in a photograph, watching as the walls collapse, and all of those who should take control are faded out in the sun. If nothing good can last, so we'll burn our innocence to ash. Everyone says science and no, are you under the gun? Born in the bright lights of a crowded room, a past life ready to resume. We're all in a rush to a sinking stone. Why won't you speak what you've been shown? I'll play the fool if you be my fate, 'cause you're so cool but you can't relate to all of your false prophets. Never really had a name. Close in a photograph, watching as the walls collapse, and all of those who should take control are faded out in the sun. If nothing good can last, so we'll burn our innocence to ash. Everyone says science and no, are you 6 feet under the gun? Close in a photograph, watching as the walls collapse, and all of those who should take control are faded out in the sun. If nothing good can last, so we'll burn our innocence to ash. Everyone's just killing to know, are you 6 feet under the gun?
Hello.
I got too elaborate with the setup. I thought I had this nailed down, but I always do that. I was like, let's go a little farther. How great can we make this? And then it gets too complicated. Like, now we fucked everything up.
Yeah, I know how that
Strip
goes.
it down, start from scratch.
Sometimes that's what you gotta do.
What fucking time is it, dude?
I don't know.
It doesn't feel late, but I got to make
It
sure
is.
I fucking monitor. I
8:23.
got shit in the morning, so I got to make sure I'm not fucking up too late. 8:23 is not bad. We got like
It's all
what,
good. All good.
45 minutes? 40?
Yeah, we can keep
40
riffing.
minutes?
So what do you want to talk about? Do you have more questions about the band and such? Since we're on the subject.
What are you guys trying to do? What is this band trying to do? Are you guys trying to tour? Is this just like we want to just get back together, have some fun, do some shit locally?
I think we're starting. So essentially, what happened was.
What happened was
No, you talk about something being somebody's thing. To me, this is a little bit like this kind of is Ben's band to me. He's the oldest.
Did he start it?
Essentially, yeah. He came up with
For
the
me,
name.
that's always whose band it is.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
started the fucking band? Because that's the guy with the balls. That's the guy who took the leap. That's the guy who did all the
Exactly,
work
yeah.
before anybody showed up.
Yeah, I'm the front man, but no, he's like the Noel Gallagher of the crew, and I'm like a nicer Liam.
Explain what you mean, what you just said to people that don't know the story of Oasis.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, Noel is the George Martin called him the best songwriter of his generation. So I mean, he was the songwriter in Oasis, and he's like considered like the cool one. He's like the nice, cool brother. Liam is kind of like John Lennon meets Johnny Rotten. He's got the attitude, obviously the voice, but he's known for being a little bit more of an asshole. And especially in their relationship, he was always more of an asshole to Noel. And eventually Noel just was like, I don't care. You can throw tens of millions of dollars at us, hundreds of millions of dollars. I am not getting him fucking in a room with my brother again.
That's crazy, isn't it?
yeah,
Isn't
they
it that
keep offering
brothers
more and more
can't
money.
figure out how to make it work? Like,
But
your
if
brothers.
you hear the stories, it makes sense. Like, I just watched a podcast with Liam where he's like, I think it was Howard Stern, where he's like, well, it all started, one day I came back at 15 years old, pissed drunk. Noel had just bought like a nice sound system to listen to the Smiths and Joy Division. And he's all drunk. Light switch wouldn't come on. So he just started pissing. And Noel goes, what the fuck, man? You just pissed on my brand new sound system. He's like, well, if it was fucking that or your fucking head, mate.
What a piece of shit. I'd have
Dude,
beat his fucking ass, dude.
That's why they would always fight. And that was just their thing. They would like get in fucking fist fights like all through the 90s. And it was cool for a while. And then I think towards the like mid to late 2000s, it was like, Noel was over it. He's like, I'm already a cajillionaire.
Noel's the older brother, right?
He's the older one. He's the guitar
See,
player.
here's what I think happened.
What?
Pure speculation.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Liam beat the shit out of Noel, and Noel couldn't handle it. His ego couldn't handle getting his ass kicked by his little brother. That's what I think happened.
Apparently, no, because they talked about that. They were like, who, like, you guys got in fights more and more often. Who would usually win? And
It
Noel
was
said,
probably Noel for the most part.
Yep,
And
Noel
then
said-
Liam won once, and that was it.
well,
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's my official answer.
I think, yeah.
No matter what the official... I'm saying this because no matter what they say it is,
Yeah.
this is what I think happened.
Yeah.
So finish the story.
And who knows? But I mean, there's so many stories. Like Liam wouldn't turn up to the studio for days, so Noel would kind of have to. They'd have to change the keys of parts because Liam couldn't sing it, or like the "We're gonna live forever." Like, no, he's like, "Hey, you're gonna have to do that bit, mate." Liam is all attitude, and I love Liam. I think he's one of the best singers of his generation, and I love his attitude. But I think Noel is the cooler, more down to earth brother, and But yeah, I don't know. I think towards the end, they weren't making as good of records. Noel was sick of it. And apparently he had like some priceless, like, $50,000, $100,000 guitar that was probably given to him by some rock star, Johnny Marr or somebody. And apparently Liam went in the back, pissed drunk, and smashed it. Like this priceless guitar before their gig in front of like 100,000 people in Paris. And Noel said, fuck it. I'm done with this. And then they got in a huge fight because he wouldn't go on stage. And usually Liam was the one who would hold up the stage. He was the Axl Rose, And apparently they got in some massive big last fight, and Noel said, I'm done. And this was in like 2009 or some shit, But it's all speculation. And they're both doing great. But anyways, we've had far less.
What
of
is
that in
going
our
on
band.
with your tongue, dude?
I feel like I got like a hair in my mouth.
You keep. I don't think they can hear it, but I keep hearing you lick, and then I keep.
Well,
seeing
you ever feel like you have a
touch your
hair on the
tongue.
back of your tongue, and you're like, "The fuck is that?" And you're like trying to like,
Yeah, but when
figure
it
it out.
happens to me, it's usually a
you're
dog
trying to do
hair
it
because I was
in-house.
cuddling with my puppy the night before, bro.
beer's gonna solve it.
I actually
But
met
anyways-
Noel Gallagher. Go ahead, finish
You
your story.
did?
Yeah.
No shit, was he
I'll,
cool?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you a story. Finish your story first.
No, that was pretty much my story. I mean, the brothers in our band, obviously, much less drama, but I really do consider it kind of Ben's band, and he's kind of the one that got this whole thing going. I mean, our first promo video was him alone in a rehearsal space, being like, "This fucking sucks," and he just literally like he grabs Nick out of the bar, you know, that he works at, and then like grabs me, and I'm like doing like a live stream from the back of my van, and like you know, and then the other band that we're playing with is Trading Faces. It's their CD release show. And so he goes into the studio and like, he's like, "Sounds pretty good, boys, but it's time." And he just like clicks the lights off and steals two of them. And they're like, "Whoa, okay, I guess we're playing a show." And then it cuts to us in the rehearsal space jamming out, you know, on a new song. So
That's funny.
and that was literally kind of how it happened, which is like kind of the joke, you know. And so So Ben was kind of the one. He was like the one that was like, "No, I think it's time. We're older now. I miss it. You know, we all miss it." And we all went off and did other things. But yeah, so he's gotten it back together. We've recorded a lot of music. We've written a lot of music. So essentially, the plan is, I mean, we're gonna do the show, obviously, and then
Is this the only one you have booked right now?
yeah, it's the only thing on the books because we just wanted to commit to one just big good show and have fun, and it's great. We sound better than I think we ever have. And then, you know, we got to finish a record, and that's it's its own whole thing. Then we'll figure it out. And it's, you know, we're playing around other stuff too because we're older now. I'm an actor. I travel. I'm always gone. I have a solo record that's done now and is getting mixed, so I have to figure that out. So it's that stage that bands get in when they reunite where now
You're
it's
in
going to be
dangerous territory right now, dude. I got to
It
tell
is.
you this. I have to stop you, and I have to tell you this. You guys are in dangerous fucking territory right now, and I'll tell you what it is, and I bet you don't see it coming. Go ahead and take a guess.
I don't know.
Rehearsals.
Oh,
With you living this lifestyle, because I know a couple other bands like this, you're probably not rehearsing enough. And I understand that you guys are great,
mhm.
and you've done shit, and you've been there and done that. But there's something that happens to a band when they don't rehearse together
yeah,
enough.
yeah,
And it shows up only on stage. It does not show up in the studio. It does not show up in songwriting. It shows up on stage.
yeah,
Your average asshole will not notice. They'll be like, "I love them." Rah!
yeah.
Those aren't the people you're going after because those are the people that like the shitty bands too,
Mhm.
right? We all need those fans. We need the fans that will support literally anybody out there doing it.
Yeah,
That's dope because no band will make it without those fans. However, those fans also don't sustain or launch anyone as well.
mhm.
Those bands just simply give you a foundation as a local band to build off of.
Yeah.
What you need to do is be able to grab the people who don't know anything about music but still have incredibly high expectations, and the only way that happens is by sounding great live and
Yeah.
rehearsing.
And that's why I think we're literally taking it one step at a time. And we've
Smart.
been
That's
we've
fucking
been
smart, dude.
really rehearsing a lot because we want to do the songs justice. You know, we're older now. We got 2 new members in. You know, and so no, I think you're totally right. If I was
I mean, as a
if
singer,
I
you
was
don't need to be there every
indisposed-
night.
yeah, but like you
You
said,
really don't need to be there every night as the singer.
but like you said, yeah. I mean, there is something about it shows.
If
a
the other
band's
guys are
not
pros, you really don't need to be there every night, though.
yeah,
To be
and-
fair, just to give everybody an out, including you as
for
the
sure,
singer.
for sure. It
If
is
the
still,
band
yeah.
has their shit together, you don't need to be at every rehearsal.
Mhm.
However, that if you got a guitar
You
player,
hear that, guys?
if you have a guitar player that's pulling the same shit, if you have a drummer that's pulling the same shit,
Yeah.
it will eventually
And it has we've been
manifest
there,
and
yeah.
show itself live. And
Yeah.
that's when you lose people because yes, we can stream your music. Yes, you might have a song on the radio, but at the end of the day, what really makes somebody a true fan of your band is when they see you live.
Absolutely. And that's why we're taking the show and the rehearsals so seriously and kind of ignoring the what are you going to do next? Because that is just going to get in the way, I think, right now. because we really just want to do the band and these songs justice for this show. And then we know we can make a record. We know we've done all the other stuff and we can do it again. But again, none of us want to overcommit. We want to just do a great job at the show. And like I said, I got films. I got to get this solo record out. I need to tour that. There, and I'm being just honest about that. Like I'm multifaceted at this point, like you were talking about. Like you kind of.
And the irony of it is, you need to be that way.
Yeah.
The problem is that we can't be all in on one thing anymore. Like for example, Robert Plant, Freddie Mercury, they only did one thing.
But back then it was different. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like David Lee Roth only did one thing, and that's why they were three of the greatest lead singers / frontmen of all fucking time. James Hetfield only does technically two things, but one thing. He's the frontman of Metallica. Yeah. Yes, he sings and plays guitar. I get it. Technically, that's two things, but that's not really my point. My point is,
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
He doesn't act. He doesn't do anything else. He's just this guy.
Yeah.
What I was saying earlier, just to bring it back so everybody can, especially people that are just jumping in, if you're listening to this as an audio podcast in a few days from now, you're not just jumping in, but we are streaming live. And I'm talking more almost to the listeners than to you right now. To bring it back to what we were talking about earlier is, you can't get away with being James Hetfield or David Lee Roth or Robert Plant or Freddie Mercury anymore. You can't. It's just not sustainable anymore. Mostly because you can't make money off of any type of play.
You got to be Jack White, man.
You can't be, even if you have 6 million streams on fucking iTunes, you're not making enough money off doing that. It's like $6,000. 6 million streams equals like $6,000 or something ridiculously
it's even
small.
Less on Spotify or any of the other platforms.
Exactly. And so you have to have these other platforms. And why I'm saying this is ironic is you're doing exactly what you need to do. And I don't want to put any pressure on you, bro, because pressure isn't good for performers. But awareness is great for performers.
Absolutely.
The irony is you're doing exactly what you have to do, but one misstep, if you neglect one of these things.
Dance,
And what I think really boils down to is guys used to be able to like just be David Lee Roth. And I'm just using him because it's a name. But then they still had time for three things. And like a side project or a business investment, that's one thing. And then their family was another thing, right? So they just had three things that they dedicated all their time to. And that's why they were great at all three of those things. Not necessarily David Lee Roth, but it's just the name I chose at that moment.
Yeah.
We have to shift that and take just the music side or the entertainment side and put it into three things, right? And you're doing that, which isn't a problem because you're a singer. But when guitar players do this, it can become a problem.
Yeah, it can get dicey.
So you need to play guitar every day because you got to be streaming online. You got to play guitar every day because you got to give lessons. You got to play guitar every day because you have a band that you're playing with on the weekends. Cool. But what you can't do is literally stop rehearsing with your band because you're too busy doing those other three things, because it will manifest itself live.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The one thing you can't do is only play guitar at rehearsal, because then it's going to sacrifice you giving guitar lessons, or it's going to penalize you doing online streaming, or whatever the case may be.
It's a really tough thing to juggle.
It is so much harder nowadays, but it's also easier. And the reason it's easier is because you don't have gatekeepers to go through. But the reason it's harder is because now you're your boss.
And it's no man's land, and you literally have to manifest your own big picture stuff. It's like,
build a community.
It is very community based, and it is about, they used to say like forever in Hollywood or whatever in entertainment, it's all about who you know, but I think it's like that more than ever. And I go to these places like New York, and I run into somebody on the subway who works on this TV show, and you should know these people, and then you meet somebody who's, oh yeah, I've played with this person, do you know that person? And then, oh, you should get their number. And then it's, every job I've done has like gotten me another job. And I still look at myself, I'm very much at like the bottom starting level of that. And that's never going to go away. Technology, change, trends, whatever, that's not going to go away. There's something about word of mouth and who you know and people that's just, it's community,
What you said, it's about who you know being more true than ever. I think that's true with almost every cliche or idiom. And I wonder if that's just because we're getting older and we're realizing the depths of those truths. Or if it's because no matter how much the world changes, these things are still more true.
Yeah, they're
or maybe
constants.
they become more important because of the world we live in now. I'm very curious about that little dichotomy right there. Is like, are we getting older and our perception of that truth becoming, heavier and weightier? Or is it the society we live in that those old cliches are more important now than ever?
It could be a little of both.
Do you notice that though? Like, it's not
Yeah.
just music idioms. It's not just music cliches. There's another one. This one's almost more important than it's who you know.
Mhm.
I learned this from a hip hop producer. If you want to stay on top, you got to stay in touch.
Perfect.
And I have failed at this miserably because when
It's
I'm
hard.
out,
It's
when
a
I'm out,
full-time
I'm
fucking
out,
job,
dude.
yeah.
When I'm not doing shit, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, I'll take 6 months off and go fishing, and I'll become a fucking master fisherman for 6 months.
Mhm.
And then when I'm done fishing, I'm fucking doing carpentry for 6 months, and I'll become a master carpenter. Or I'm, machining shit, working on a lathe. Whatever the situation may be, when I'm doing that, I'm fucking all in, and I'm not staying in touch with the other groups,
Yeah.
networks,
Mhm.
industries, and so I fall off. And so when something comes up, I'm not on any, and that's the point. When an opportunity comes up, your name needs to be in somebody's mind. We should call this dude.
Yeah.
You can only do that if you stay in touch.
Absolutely.
You can't stay on top if you don't stay in touch. That's probably the most powerful one I've ever heard, and I still don't fucking follow that shit. I'm like,
Well,
nah, when I'm
it's
out, I'm out.
hard as
dude.
shit. Yeah.
When I check out for a fucking reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And sometimes you have to.
It's like, I don't want to be a
Yeah.
part of this
Sometimes
right
I'm
now.
like, about once a year or something, I'll be like, I'm totally crashing. I need to go to the desert for like 2 days and turn my fucking phone off.
That's the big one for me, dude, is the balance. Figuring out that now that I'm married and I own a home and I've got other goals and aspirations other than
Yeah.
just being a musician.
Mhm.
When I was fucking 26, the only thing that mattered was I need to get back on stage. Like, that's all I could think about. It
Yeah,
wasn't
it's
even
an
about
obsession.
furthering my career anymore. It was just like, I need
It's
to
like
be
an
on
addiction,
stage.
yeah.
It is an addiction. It is a fucking
Mhm.
addiction, dude. But as I get older, my priorities have switched to a balance and figuring out how to manage my time in a way that allows me to be really good at just a few things. And unfortunately, I had to take a break from the podcast. I had to let that take a step back because I wasn't getting this album done. And why wasn't I getting this album done? Because I wasn't playing drums enough, and my chops weren't where they needed to be. I'm not even trying to be the fucking drummer of this goddamn band, but I can't find a drummer that can either fucking dedicate the time or pull shit off. Man, my boy, I'm not going to name his name because nobody needs to know. I ain't fucking calling him out. I ain't putting him on blast like that because he is the man. I hired him to learn my music and come into the studio and record. And we had to bump one date because he just simply got cocky, blew it off, and then when crunch time hit, he was like, this is way more complicated than I thought it was. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, like I told you that, dude. I told you not to sleep on this shit. I told you, I wrote you a list.
Do your homework, yeah.
This song, worry about the second verse. This song, the interlude's challenging. This song, it's the intro, blah, 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 blah. And this motherfucker blew all this shit off. Didn't know the structure of the songs. Fucking thought he was going to nail it in one night. Like, dude, bro, this ain't fucking... Get out of here with this bullshit, dude. Like, this takes real... and that's why I'm paying you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars to show up. And he didn't. And then, so he pushed the date once, and then the second date came up, and then he's like, "Oh, dude, my band booked a show that day," and I know where this dude's band is. I'm like, "So what are you sacrificing? $50 fucking dollars?" Like, I booked
split between 5 people.
I booked this date with you first, right? If you're a true professional musician and I'm paying you several $100s to do a fucking job in the studio, this is the higher priority than your bullshit band that probably isn't getting paid. And if you are getting paid, you're probably getting paid $300 as a total band. You're getting paid more than that just to do this job with me today. So his priorities got fucked up. He procrastinated a lot of shit because, and I still think the world of this guy. I'm not actually talking shit about him. I'm talking shit about the way he managed his time and his priorities.
Yeah,
because
in that
that'll fuck you
particular
up.
situation,
And that's what we were talking about earlier. You slack on one of these things. You don't prioritize these things. And all of a sudden it bites you in the ass. So now I got to go back into the studio after I fired myself as my own drummer I'm serious. I fired myself as my own drummer because I didn't think my chops were up to speed.
Yeah.
I hired somebody else. Now he can't do it, and I'm not going to push the date a second time. So now he's fired, and now I have to rehire myself as my own fucking drummer. Luckily, in the meantime, I've been preparing for 2 other projects, so my chops are actually significantly better than they were 3-4 months ago when I hired this guy. You see what I'm saying? So, like, fortunately, I put in the work, and that was one of the last subjects I wanted to bring up and kind of push ourselves into is what you were talking about earlier is that consistency and that work ethic. I wanted to double back and come back to this because I've heard Rogan talk about this. I've heard a lot of people like Jocko Willink talk about this. Discipline equals freedom. And I found this to be more and more true over the last 2 years. So about 6 months ago, I said, actually what I heard is if you dedicate literally, and I can direct quote this. If you dedicate 20 minutes to whatever your craft is, if that's playing guitar, acting, writing, becoming the best Rocket League player in the world, if you dedicate 20 minutes every single day for 1 year, you will be better than 90% of people in your field, just like that.
Absolutely.
And that shit hit so hard with me. And because I had already been knowing in my mind, that I'm not putting in the work. The reason the podcast didn't blow up is because I wasn't putting the work in. The reason my project isn't done is because I'm not putting the work in. Ironically, I'm kind of known for my work ethic. So this was very hard for me to swallow this pill. Point is it was a bigger endeavor than I was used to. And I was putting in a normal amount of work and that wasn't going to happen. And I wasn't consistent. I said, fuck this shit. I'm doing 20 minutes to a half hour every fucking day, no exceptions anymore. Well, that immediately turned into an hour, hour and a half. Now it's 5 days a week instead of 7, but I'm getting literally 5 to 8 hours of work in per week instead of an hour and a half. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So, or 2 hours or whatever it is. So in 3 or 4 months now, all of a sudden, like, I'm not ready to announce it. I'm not ready to talk about it, but I've actually joined a band. I'm actually doing shit again. And it is truly mind-blowing to look back and realize how little effort I was putting in the past. Like, even when I was good and killing it, like, it was like, God, I was not working hard. I was running on pure fucking talent my entire life. And now that talent is gone, I have to compensate with an overwhelming work ethic, not just a work ethic, but pure consistency and discipline. And now that I've done that, I can comfortably sit here today and go, yeah, I didn't play drums today because I had a podcast today. But I know tomorrow when I jump on the drums, it won't matter because of that consistency. So to go back to Jocko's thing is discipline equals freedom. Those guys that refuse to compromise going to the gym can take a day off every once in a while. The guys that are constantly taking days off can't sacrifice another day or two because something happened to come up.
Yeah.
That has really helped me more than anything in the last 6 months to a year. I
completely agree. I'm on the exact same page with and it's hard when you're multifaceted too, because it's like I'm dedicating this amount of time to a lot of things. But it's hard at first because I felt like I wasn't like, why am I doing all this work?
Whiskey?
Yeah, let's do it. Is that a pickle flavored whiskey, by the way? Is it good? No. He's like, no. Absolutely no.
It's not very good.
But you can try it. I want to smell it.
Just take a sip, dude. Drink it right out of the bottle. Who gives a fuck?
Right, let me just do a little bit. Oh, I'm gonna pass a UA now. I had a buddy who did that. He was that kid who like always had a parole officer, like a UA every week in high school, and we would cut weight for wrestling together. And he was always like, "I got a UA tomorrow," and he'd come into my house, and we'd have sauna suits and like the sweats, and I'd be like, "Well, when did you smoke last?" He's like, "Last night." And then I'd be like, "Well, how many pounds over are you for the wrestling meet tomorrow?" 10. I'm like, Jesus Christ, get on the Stairmaster. Like, and so it'd be all night. My mom and I would be just laughing downstairs. I would already have my weight cut, and like he'd still be just all night, just
So
He would always make it though. He
Brent
never did pass.
Brent Ford is asking a question. He says,
let's hear it.
my theory on Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington, they were gay. Thoughts? You fucking asshole, dude. I don't think they were
No
gay.
comment.
I also don't care if they were gay.
They were the
That's
best.
such a shit ass head. That's such a shithead ass question to ask,
Yeah,
dude.
that needs to go. Are there any real questions out there
Yeah, hold on.
that
Here's
don't
one.
involve being gay?
Yeah, here's one. Hold on.
Why are you gay?
How did I know you were going to keep going to that?
Okay, that one was on purpose.
Okay, that's kind of funny.
And actually, it became significantly more funny because you go any that don't have to do with being gay.
No, your comedic timing was impeccable. I'm gonna
It was
be
luck.
honest.
It was
Yeah.
pure fucking luck. I wish I could take credit for that. It was luck. Cheers, buddy.
So this is Suntory. This is from that movie with Bill Murray, Lost in Translation, where he's like, does the commercial for it. He's like, it's always a time when it's Suntory time.
No shit. This is also the whiskey that Daniel LaRusso drinks when he goes to Japan in Cobra Kai, the TV show.
I need to go to Japan. They live in fucking Blade Runner there. Like from the pictures I see, like I'm such a
Dude,
fan of like their culture.
I don't think you should go to Japan, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
So I'm buddy. I don't
Dangerous?
want to name his name because I don't know if he wants this out there with his name attached to it. But I know a very, very successful musician who's pretty goddamn successful here, but
Mhm.
but worldwide they're way more famous than they are in America.
Okay.
And they've played Japan as a headlining band in their biggest stadium multiple times
Okay.
and sold it out like what Metallica can do to US Bank Stadium, sell it out 2-3 nights in a row. They could do that in Japan. Okay.
Wow.
And he goes, "Oh, Japan's the best." Now, if my wife is listening, shut up, bitch. I'm just kidding. If my wife is listening, this was before we got married, so just shh.
Context. Okay. All right. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
He goes, "Dude, you got to go to Japan." And I was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Dude, I got to get to Japan," because he said, this sounds so fucked up, but it's a podcast, right? This is the point. It's like you say fucked up
Just
shit
say
because
it,
it's
yeah.
entertaining. He goes, "They worship white people over there." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "The women over there will fuck you just because you're white."
You know,
You don't even have to be good looking.
I've heard similar things, and that they go crazy for Americans and American music. That's why
Obsessed.
bands that don't matter here, they go to Japan and they blow up.
They're huge in Japan.
Yeah.
Yep. Obsessed. Obsessed, dude. It's fucking hilarious. And I was like, I gotta go to Japan. I'll fuck some Japanese bitches. And then I met my wife, like literally. Actually, no. I was dating Kate at the time. We weren't serious, but we were dating. Like she was hanging out at my house a lot, but I wasn't even sure. Like I wanted to be her real boyfriend. We were boyfriend and
It was
girlfriend.
that
but-
beginning stage, yeah.
yeah, we've been dating for like 3 to 6 months, but I wasn't willing to commit right away.
The slow burn.
But yeah, Japan is apparently like that fucking spot. So I don't think you should go there because you're devilishly good looking.
Oh God.
Like, dude, bro, you're definitely catching like 9 STDs through 2 condoms.
No.
Like,
If I'm going, I'll go
you
with my
could
lady.
double wrap it, dude, and you're still you'll get raped. They'll roofie
Oh
your
my
lady.
God.
They'll rape you. You'll go home with 6 different kinds of herpes, bro. Get out of here.
Terrible.
Have you heard about the Anoka roofie community?
Like Anoka, Minnesota?
Mhm.
No, that's horrifying.
So this is to explain my
I like
previous
Anoka.
joke.
It's a wholesome place. You're going to ruin Anoka for me.
This is to explain my previous joke. They'll
Okay.
roofie her and go after you.
They do that? there?
That's what they do in Anoka. So they don't roofie your girl.
Fuck Anoka.
If you go to, and it happened to me twice.
What?
If you go to Anoka, just you and your girl, some shady bartender or a dude who hangs out there, they don't roofie your girl. They roofie you. So they incapacitate you, and then they go after your girl.
It's horrifying.
It's fucking horrific, dude. And they did it to me twice. Both times it happened to me, I was like, yo, I'm getting fucked up. We got to get out of here. And luckily, I was able to hail a cab because it's downtown Anoka, which is
shit.
ironic that you can hail a cab in downtown Anoka.
still
Now
have
that I'm
that there?
thinking about this. They
I feel
did
like
when
a
I
horse
was there.
and buggy would show up.
They did when I was there, right? Because Uber wasn't even that big of a thing back then.
Hi, are you Ishmael?
For real though, and luckily I got out of there both times. And so I called my buddy because by the time I got to the hotel, I was like face planting. Like literally, I got out of the fucking cab, walked in the lobby, and face planted in the lobby of the hotel. Broke my glasses. My girlfriend is at the time before I met Kate is dragging me down the hall. They had to get a security guard to drag me down the hall with her and get me into the fucking hotel room. Woke up the next morning. I called my boy Jesse. I'm like, dude, I think I got roofied last night in Anoka. And he starts laughing hysterically. He goes, you went there with just your girlfriend, didn't you? And I go, well, yeah, of course. We were on a date. And he goes, you never go downtown Anoka with just you and your girl. I went, what are you talking about? He goes, you need one other person. It can even be a second girl. You have to go there with 3 or more people, including yourself. I'm like, no shit.
Traveling threes, people.
So I call a few other people I know.
Anoka County, you've been warned.
I call a couple other people I know, and they're like, oh yeah, that's totally a thing. Like, yeah, don't go downtown Anoka, just you and your girl. Are you fucking stupid? And I was like, I had no idea. What are you talking about? How are you going to guilt me?
I thought we were so wholesome in the Midwest.
No.
Little did I know the seedy underbelly that was brewing.
Dude, Anoka is a fucking meth town, dude.
Cesspool.
It's a meth town, dude. It's a horrible place.
It's insidious.
Man. It's a fucking horrible place, dude. Great to day drink. Oh, that's the other thing is if you do go down there just you and your girl, you have to day drink and you got to be out of there by like literally 3-4 o'clock at night.
Catch
like
the matinee.
You can't stay into sunset into the night. You can't do that. Just you got to go with a group. And that's why you almost never see just a couple. And as soon as this was explained to me, all my memories started flashing. I'm like, yeah, why? There's always a group of like 3, 4, 5 people. There's never just a couple unless it's lunchtime.
The fuck?
Yeah, blew my mind, but it's totally true. So that's why I said the thing about fucking Japan. They'll roofie you and go after your girl, or they'll roofie her and go after you. All them Japanese women are gonna fucking roofie her and mob you. They're gonna rape you. Like 80 Japanese women will just mound you, dude.
I'm gonna have a nightmare about that tonight.
No, you won't. You're gonna jerk off to that tonight, you fucking weirdo.
I'm not that kinky.
Don't bullshit me, Jack Swagger.
I am not that kinky.
Buddy.
I'm
just
very vanilla, man.
I used to get shit about that too. People used to be like, "Oh, Jared, you're such a man whore." I was like, I'm actually not.
Yeah.
Like, I've had sex with a lot of women, but I definitely was not a man whore.
Mm.
When I was in Dying Euphoria, I probably had less sex, even as a lead singer. I probably had less sex than anyone in that band. Like, the bass player got more pussy than me.
Mm.
I just wasn't like actively going out there and doing it. It just wasn't a thing by that point.
Yeah, I know. I guess I've always just been like the girlfriend guy in the band. That was just always my thing. It never appealed to me to do the whole. I liked it for other people.
Hold on. Let's redo that from the top. I want you to do it slightly more genuine.
Okay.
Make it more believable. Come on.
It's very take 2. No, I'm not fucking with you.
Are you
weird,
directable?
man.
Let's see if you're directable. Okay.
Yeah.
I want you to do it with a slight tear in your eye.
Yeah. Oh. No, I really like. I was ever since I can remember. It was like
I always wanted a girlfriend.
Most of the end of high school, I had a girlfriend, and then I would have a small little. I never even had like a hoe phase. It was like I'd hook up with like 1 or 2 people in like the 6 months, and then I'd meet like the next girl that I'd be with for the next 3 or 4 years. So I was weird. People were always like, "Oh, you must get so much this or that." And I'm like, no, I don't know. I
racked up my body count looking for a girlfriend and a wife. Like I knew young I wanted a family. Happens. So I was banging as many girls as I could, but just to find a girl I could chill with. And the problem I always ran into is I would fall in love with a girl who didn't want to chill out yet.
But yeah, that's
it's
always like ships passing the night.
I mean, the generation we're in too, like girls are fucking. I'm not talking about all women, but girls are kind of whores now.
Men are whores too.
Yeah, fuck. Who cares? What? Dude, come on, stop.
But it's not. I mean, they both have a right to be, I would think. But like, I don't know.
Do whatever you want.
Do
whatever you want. What I'm saying,
hookup culture is rampant. Let's say that dating culture, hookup culture, throwaway culture. Like, oh well, didn't you have a good time with him? Yeah, but I'm gonna ghost him. Or like, well, wasn't she really nice? Yeah, but I'm not gonna talk to her again. It's like I feel like people are just really comfortable doing that. And I don't know what it is. Maybe people are afraid of intimacy.
Well, here's what I'm saying: is dudes have always been like that. Dudes have always been like, dudes have always been like,
especially at a certain age,
whether they know it or not. I want to spread my seed as much as I can, right? Yeah. What I'm talking about is the sudden change in the last 20, 30 years, where women went from being like legitimately ladies, and then you had whores, to most women being hoes, and now you got ladies. Like, ladies are a true lady is the minority now, and that wasn't true 30, 40, 50 years ago. It just wasn't.
But what classifies a true lady, I guess? I don't know.
Somebody who hasn't slept with fucking X amount of dudes before she gets married. Like,
but is the standard the same for dudes? Why is it not the same? I don't know. I guess we're getting into a territory here, but we could go on for this for hours. But.
Oh, we totally could. But there's a lot of reasons for it, dude. There's a lot of reasons.
Well, there's a lot
for
of classical.
My
like,
dick
structures.
doesn't look different based on how many chicks I've banged.
I mean, it definitely could, depending on what you catch. But that's true for anybody.
So STDs aside, my dick doesn't look different no matter how many ladies I bang. But when chicks get fucking rammed by a lot of dudes for a long time, it's like that Borat joke, dude. Her vagina's like sleeve up wizard.
That came out when I was in high school.
That's
true, why everybody made that joke. Okay.
It's true though,
now.
man. Like fucking even my wife jokes about that shit in her couple lesbian experiences from college, dude. Fucking some of these bitches got fucking roast beef hanging between their legs. It's disgusting. It's like, dude, put that shit away. Like, ladies, put your dick away. You're getting a little too crazy. Like, that's what it boils down.
I don't know.
And then these girls complain. This is what I'm really talking about. Is like, there's nothing wrong with hoeing out. I really don't care.
Everybody deserves some hoe phases in their life.
I don't care what
no
you do.
No shade on that. Let's be
girl,
perfectly
I don't
clear
care.
about that.
Let's get perfectly clear. I'm not judging you for being a hoe. What I do judge you for, though, is when you're a hoe in your 20s, and then you wonder why you can't find a good guy in your 30s.
But I feel like the same is true for men. I feel like they're like, we shouldn't differentiate it like oh well, why is one sex like that? I think people in general are more comfortable being. It's more of a throwaway culture.
Yeah, but guys aren't complaining about where are all the good girls at.
Yes, they are.
They are.
I was for a long time.
I guess
it's
I kind
hard.
of was too, but
it's hard. It's like
I guess you're right, but I was doing that in my 20s.
I'm an outlier, dude.
I am too. I'm just also a realist, and I will call myself out and anyone else when they're on some bullshit. That's the difference, right?
Okay.
I'm also a romantic. Like, I always wanted a girlfriend. I always wanted a family. I wanted to get married. I knew that young, right? Because that's basically what I didn't have. I didn't have a real family.
Yeah, same here.
Childhood,
absolutely.
Right? But nah, some of these girls are on some bullshit, bro. Like, a lot of these girls have body counts way higher than any dude. And it's not good for a long-term relationship. Just like most dudes who became true man whores, that's not good for a long-term relationship.
Well,
what I'm saying is the paradigm shifted. Let me put it this way.
Okay.
There's a stat that came out. 20% of men are having 80% of the sex. And I'm serious. 80% of men haven't had sex in the last year or at all.
Well, maybe women's standards are getting higher.
No, it's what it is that most women are attracted to about 20% of us. I'm lucky enough, and I know you're lucky enough to be in that 20%. But most dudes aren't man whores. That's what I'm trying to say. Man whores are man whores. Most dudes aren't that. Most dudes are lucky to even get near a vagina. That's why it's called getting lucky. Literally, that's why.
Okay.
And again, this is an old idiom. This is an old cliche because this isn't new either. Like, most men don't have sex easily. That's a fucking fact. And we all know that because we all grow up with bros.
Yeah.
Like, a couple of my buddies are fucking weird and fucking awkward. And they've had sex with like 3 women in their whole life. And I genuinely feel bad for them. And my entire life, I've tried to help them out. And I have helped them out. Hey, man, don't say this. Don't do that. This thing you do, that weird thing with your fucking lip while other people are talking, stop doing that. It's fucking creepy. Like, seriously, why are you doing that with your lip? And he's like, I didn't realize I was doing that with my lip. I'm like, sometimes film yourself. Yeah. Like, and so what I would do is I'd fucking film my buddy. I'd be like, I'd see him hitting on a girl from across the room. I'd fucking zoom in and I'd film him. I'd be like, you know how fucking creepy you look? You know how awkward you look? He's like, yeah, what the fuck am I doing there? Like, now we're getting somewhere. But not all dudes have a friend like me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I will call my bass player. I called him out one time. We filmed the show, and I was like, Kevin, you got to bend your fucking legs, dude. You know how awkward you look on stage?
He's like, legs.
Fuck you, dude. And I was like, listen, fuck me all day long, fine, but you still got to bend your legs. Like, I'm not even upset that you're getting defensive.
And that's fair. I think
he watched a video. He watched a video, and he goes, oh my God, I do need to bend my legs. He goes, how did you notice that from behind your drum set? I go, I didn't. I filmed one of our shows and I watched us live.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're fucking awkward on stage. Here's how you fix it. That's the point, is I didn't just attack him. I just started with the solution. Dude, bend your legs when you're on stage. You're too robotic. It's weird. It's awkward looking. You got defensive, then he watched it, then he came to the same conclusion. That's what I'm doing now. Women, stop banging 40 fucking guys and then wondering why you can't fucking find a guy by 26 in your good years to have a baby with. It's that simple. Whether people want to hear this shit or not, the truth needs to start being told, because everybody's living in a fucking delusional fantasy world, Jack.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
And the same for men,
Everyone's
too.
delusional right now, including me and you and everybody fucking else. The world revolves around us. We get instant gratification from fucking Instagram, dude. Our
That's true.
opinion
We are a
matters because we can
pleasure-based
fucking
society,
if you say the right thing, you can go viral on Twitter. Dude, it's fucking not healthy, dude. None of this shit is healthy for us.
Well, yeah, it's keeping people separated and, you know, walled off from each other, and I think that's what it is. Is like if you
and it breeds
want to
narcissism
meet somebody,
is what it really breeds. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I agree, and it's there. There's nothing wrong with chasing individuality, and we all want to feel like that we're doing something important in the world. That
and everybody
art
wants
matters,
to feel special.
Yes, and there is a healthy dynamic of that. Like I care a lot. We care about our art. We want to work on it. We want to get it out into the world. That validates us as people.
Here's what I'm trying to say, though. Dude, you're inspiring me. As you're saying this, I'm realizing what I'm trying to say.
Go for it.
The people who are special don't think they're special. The people who aren't special think they are. That's the fucking problem, dude. People with real talent, they're super fucking humble, dude. They're like, dude, I'm just a dude. I just make music. I just fucking put
confidence goes a long way, and that's why idiots can be stars.
Think of the great musicians. They all say the same thing. I just made music that I liked and wanted to listen to, and I just got really lucky that a lot of people liked it and they bought it. George Lucas. I just wanted to make a movie that I wanted to see. It just happened to be Star Wars, and I just happened to start a universe that a lot of fucking people liked. And then you got idiots and assholes on Twitter and fucking Instagram who aren't special. They have no fucking talent. They might be a little good looking. They might have a big ass, whatever it is. And it's all sex appeal. My point is that shit goes away. Like,
true. That can only take you so far. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
it's
the substance has to come out.
That's what I'm fucking saying. There's no real... I have no problem with a girl getting rich off of Instagram because she's got a fucking beautiful ass and she knows how to do squats and take photos. And then she takes that money and invests it into businesses and genuinely over 10, 15 years becomes a legitimate businesswoman. No problem.
That's badass, yeah.
But where I have a problem is these dumb bitches who know how to take photos, have a beautiful fucking ass, and know how to do squats. They get 1 million fucking Instagram followers. And their path to riches is, I'm going to go bang a bunch of Saudi princes and make 50 grand to let a fucking camel piss on me. That's fucking real. That's an actual thing. And that's the majority of what's happening. That's the reality. Or these fucking dumbass bitches who go, I would never give up Instagram for my dream guy because I don't think my dream guy can give me what Instagram's giving me. These are real opinions, real conversations from a lot of women. Or these girls, these fucking hoes who fucking go out there and they realize I can make 10 grand a month banging dudes or masturbating on OnlyFans. Like, this is not
sex
the path
work
to
is
happen. It's real work. Sex work is real work. I'm not saying they shouldn't do it.
And a lot of my friends are sex workers, and
what I'm saying, Jack, is I'm saying they shouldn't do this expecting the road to some sort of family utopia. Like, if your motivation is to get married and be happy and have a family, these other things are not conducive to get to that place. And if you think they are, you're lying to yourself. Whoever you are out there listening to this podcast right now, do it while you're young, do it while you're hot, but give it up before it becomes who you are, right? Like, I gave up being a man whore by the time I was like 23. I was like, because this ain't leading there. Like,
yeah.
I'm having great sex. I have plenty of memories. When I'm an old, feeble old man in a nursing home, I'm going to have a lot of great memories and a lot of beautiful women to look back on.
Okay.
But in order for me to find my wife and truly be happy and build mental health and emotional health,
had to change
that path wasn't the right way to go down.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The problem is this. The problem is this. No one's willing to say this. No one's willing to have these conversations because they're literally
we don't
worried
want to shame
about
people. We don't want to throw shade on
we
sex
shouldn't
workers.
be worried to shame people. That's what I'm saying.
To a certain degree, I think. But go on with your point. I want to hear what you have to say.
No, that's it. We shouldn't be worried to shame people. The fact is like, Shaming is what gets people off of a path. For example, here's a good analogy, right? We found out through years of legal and logical and philosophical practices, you can't eliminate racism through law, through legislation. You can't do it. So I remember them telling us this in school. The only way you can eliminate racism is by literally shaming people. It's social pressure. So as children, you need to tell all your friends, you're not going to be friends with a racist, because that's the only way we're going to get rid of racism. We found out later that's also not true. You'll never get rid of racism no matter what you do. But that is true for getting obese people to suddenly become healthy. It's shame. And 2 reasons. Maybe their boys are giving them shit. You fat fuck. Lose some weight. You're going to die. You're fucking obese. You got to get healthy. Blah, 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 blah. Because that's what bros do, right? Women shame them by not fucking them. Women are like, you're fat. I don't want to date you. I don't want to fuck you. That's shame, dude. And what that does is it forces these men to get in shape, to take control of their lives, to stop being slaves to food, to their appetite, to their indulgences. And that's the only thing that has ever worked. It's shame or fear of death, I guess, when we're using the fat analogy.
Yeah, no, I think there has to be a want, though. I think that my only point,
because I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying, like, so people don't think I'm just like randomly ranting on everybody because I think I'm an elitist. I don't. What I'm saying is these are the things that helped me. I know hundreds of people that the same thing helped them. Like somebody has to be like, dude, that's shameful.
Well, and
maybe not in those words.
But I think even beyond that, at the end of the day, I don't think personally that people change unless there is a innate want to change. You can shame them. You can pressure them. You can as culture, as society, say that this is right, this is wrong. And I think that the only time that people change is when there's a conscious choice. It's like somebody who is told you're a horrible alcoholic. You need to get sober for years, in and out of rehab. We've known these people, but the one day is like, and some people think it needs a rock bottom or it needs this or an intervention or that. I think it just one day you wake up and you're like, I'm done.
I agree. But usually
that comes internally.
Rarely does it come solely internally, though. Most of the time, the seed has already been planted from the outside in.
From here, from there, or from a friend.
Exactly.
I know what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's from loved ones. It's from your community. Like, dude, get your shit together. You know how many fucking friends have fallen apart on me? And I literally, I'm the guy.
Very important,
I'm the guy who will call them out and I'll be like, bro, get your fucking life together, dude. And they're like, fuck you, bro.
And we need people like that in our lives.
And I'm like, no, dude, listen, man. Like, nobody else is telling you this in your life. I'm telling you, you're fucking up. I'm that guy right now. Dude, and I lose that friend, and then a year or two later, they come back and they go, dude, I swear to God, I swear to God, you're the reason I sobered up.
Damn.
Because nobody else talked to me like that. Nobody else was willing to just throw down like that.
People are uncomfortable doing uncomfortable things. It's uncomfortable to tell a friend that, hey man, I'm worried about you. Like,
well, and where I learned this is drug addicts. I'm using the analogy of fat people and all this other shit. I'm using the analogy of whores and fat people and all this other shit because that's what's like topical right now, right?
Okay.
But when this actually became a fact to me was when we had an opioid epidemic. And I had dozens of friends become junkies.
It's sad. It's so fucking sad.
I was like, no, dude, like, we can't ever be friends if you're a fucking junkie. Like, sober up and then call me.
And I have friends that get your shit hate together, me to this day. Very few, but 1 or 2 that it's like, I can't know you. I want to run into you down the road and you're doing much better. But
and here's what I said.
I can't know you because I'm an enabler.
And here's the quote, bro. Here's the quote. Because this is going to happen again. This isn't an anomaly. This isn't something from the past. This is a common occurrence. Yeah. I'd rather lose a friend and know you're alive than keep you and then see you die.
Yep.
It's 100%. That fucking simple. Like,
absolutely.
Dude, I don't want to be friends with you and see you die. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I care about you so much. I'm willing to burn this bridge and tell you
it's for the better good.
You can't come back until you rebuild this bridge with sobriety. That's where I learned that shit. And then I heard Tom Segura talk about it. The only reason he ended up getting fit in the first place is because of the fat shaming from Joe Rogan and the other communities.
And David Goggins and all those guys. Yeah.
And he's like, fuck, man, I don't want people to fucking look at me like a fat fuck. I want to get fit. And now the response is the exact opposite. I just watched the Tom Segura, Joe Rogan thing, and Joe's like, dude, you look fucking great. And guess what? Guess what Tom said? He goes, it was consistency. Just like you and I have been talking about with your acting, with my music. It's consistency.
Daily practices are fucking hard.
Yep.
Because they're literally daily. You're never done.
Yep.
Ever.
Yep.
But I like that mentality. I want to be like, I'm never going to be a master actor. I'm always a student. I'm always going to be a beginner musician in my mind. No matter how great people think I am, I'm never going to allow myself to lose that. No matter how far this goes, how many people love what I do, that's great. I am still a novice, and I want to learn. I want to learn from you. I want to learn from the next person I meet. I want to learn from everybody because I like to be a sponge, because they know shit I don't know. There's no way I could know what they know.
Well, not only that, right, but we're talking about the roles we play.
Yeah.
Because we can talk about being receivers all day long, right? But we want to be transmitters. So what's the message you're putting out, right? What's the vibe?
Yeah.
What's the energy you're putting out? Yeah,
That's
I'm
important.
an intense guy. I don't fuck
And I
around.
like that. I am too.
I don't tolerate bullshit. It's a fact. Everybody about this knows me. You spit some bullshit in front of Jared, he's definitely calling you out, whether you fucking like it or not.
And that's good. We need people like that.
That's
people
what
that don't have that, you can tell.
But that's what I'm trying to say, man, is like, I would way rather be the asshole you can trust than the nice guy who talks shit behind your back.
We don't need more yes men, right?
We don't need any more yes men, and we don't need any more people in this society placating our fucking fantasies and our delusions. So when I used to call certain friends and be like, oh, dude, I feel bad because, I'm getting depressed because I haven't finished my album and I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that. And they'd be like, oh, well, it'll happen for you eventually. And blah, blah, blah. No, it won't. I needed one person and it never fucking happened. I needed one guy. I needed one fucking friend to go, bro, I know you. You don't work hard. You think you work hard. You lie to yourself. You convince yourself you work hard, but you fucking don't. You're full of excuses. You find reasons not to do things. And then when you do things, you like literally convince yourself that you accomplished something. You give yourself an excuse to take the next day off. You lazy fucking fuck. Get your fucking life together. That's what I tell some of my friends. I wish somebody would have said this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. Get your fucking life together. Bro, your priorities are completely fucked up. You're more worried about getting home from work, getting high, and playing video games than you are mastering your fucking craft, dude. You've fallen off the fucking wagon. You're lazy. You need to fucking work harder. Nope. I had one friend that came close to this, and you know what he said? He said, nobody's going to show up and save your project. The only person who's going to get this album done is you. But that's all he said. That's the whole sentence. Nobody's going to show up and save your project. The only one who's getting this done is you. And that still wasn't intense enough for me to fucking go be like, oh my God, he's fucking right. I had to figure that out on my goddamn own. Do you know how much time I wasted being alone on that idea? If I would have had one friend like me who would have grabbed me by the metaphorical throat and said, you're going to fucking die unless you learn how to swim. Because right now you have so much energy, you can just flap your fucking arms and swim across the river. But someday you're going to get old. You're not going to have that kind of energy and stamina. And you don't know how to swim. And next time you try to go across that river, you're going to fucking drown. That's the point I'm trying to make, dude. And you have that. You have that work ethic because you've already said it multiple times. You memorize those lines to a nauseating level. It's not about talent for you. I made that mistake my entire fucking life. Dude, and it caught up with me so goddamn fast, Jack. Whew! It was a wake-up call, dude. And it's hard,
but we need those.
This last year has been the most introspective, critical year of my life.
Same.
And
ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
It became the most powerful, positive year in the last 7 years.
Yeah.
Right? Since I've been 30, 31, 32 years old, I'm more productive in the last 360 days than I have been in the last 7 years combined, brother.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people need to do, is either fucking do mushrooms and confront their own demons, or they need an asshole friend who will not stop talking shit until they get their shit together. No, that's my point.
I like
and
that
we
sentiment.
just need to start being more critical with each other and stop worrying about hurting people's feelings. Because if you're really friends with somebody, like family, right? The people who've seen the worst sides of you are the people who are closest to you. Am I right?
Absolutely.
So the people you love the most are the people you're able to be the most honest with as well. And
100%.
that's what we need more of, dude. And I just wish more people were like that, because too many people, especially to go back all the way to where we started this conversation, too many people are willing to engage our literal delusions, our fantasies, and they're worried about hurting our feelings. And that's not constructive. That doesn't make a better society.
Mhm.
When everybody's trying to make everybody comfortable, bro, that is fucking... What does Rogan say? It's not even his phrase. He heard it from somebody else. Hard times make hard men. Hard men make easy times. Easy times make soft men. Soft men make hard times.
No, I understand that. Yeah.
That is another one of those fucking idioms that's like profound.
Yeah.
And you might understand what it means, but like 10 years from now, that's going to hit you way harder than it did tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like whoever's
Absolutely.
listening to this podcast, hard times make hard men make easy times make soft men make hard times. It's cyclical, like you said at the beginning. When we started with the it's cyclical. And it's never going to stop. So you just have to decide whether you're going to be subject to those conditions, right?
Absolutely. And I couldn't.
Sorry, I've been ranting for like last 20. We started drinking whiskey, and I was like, I'm fucking fired up! Woo!
The whiskey got you. I'm
I'm gonna pour a little bit more.
It's pretty good, man. I'm sipping slowly.
It's not too
because
bad.
I cannot handle my booze like I used to.
Oh, dude, I'm a fucking animal now.
I'm a fucking lightweight.
I'm Bert Kreischer Jr. up in this motherfucker, dude.
He's great.
I'm convinced Bert Kreischer is the only person who can outdrink me at this point.
Yeah, no, but I agree. I think I grew up with the world's most badass single mom. I mean, she did American Gladiator, she did fucking Springer, she was Miss Minnesota, professional wrestler, all these things.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah. And
okay, we're running out of time, but you got to come back and just we're gonna have
we'll do a whole podcast.
We're
on
gonna
my mom.
start
We'll bring
a whole
her
half
in.
of the podcast.
No,
Let's do that.
She's coming next week.
No shit.
Yeah.
Dude, you want to do one next week when she comes in?
We should.
I'll do another one with you and
Let's
your
do
mom next
it.
week. She was in American Gladiator.
Yeah. 91.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
I want to talk to her about that because I just learned a bunch of shit about the American
The
Gladiators.
documentary. Yeah.
They were not paid.
Dude, they were
They were
fucked over.
tortured.
Yeah.
They
It's
were
fucked.
manipulated and abused.
It's
Dude,
fucked up.
seriously.
It's a really good
Do you
documentary. I
want
was
to do
watching
this?
it last night.
Do you want to do this?
Yes, I do.
Dude, I'll have your mom sit there. You'll sit here. Does your mom drink? Does she
She'll
party
have
at all?
maybe like a beer or a glass of wine, but
Okay.
yeah, she's pretty lax.
Find out your mom's favorite wine, and I'm gonna get a bottle of wine.
Cool.
We're doing it. Let's
Yeah,
do it next week.
She's awesome.
Deal?
Maybe she's watching right now. Mom, we're doing this. Okay, but
Deal?
yeah, let's do it.
All right, Jack's mom. You don't have a vote. A vote. He just committed for you. You're locked in. We're booked
I
next
committed
Thursday.
you.
Next Thursday or Friday or Saturday.
Mhm.
I'll make an exception for an American Gladiator.
Let's do it.
They were peak athletes. That was the craziest thing
Oh, yeah.
about the Gladiators.
Yeah, she was Miss Minnesota Fitness. I mean, she did a lot. She was on Springer in like 96 or 97. And I mean, he's dead now. So, and she signed an NDA, but like, who cares now? Nobody gives a shit. But
Yeah, they're dead. Fuck 'em.
They're actors, obviously.
That's
If
why
you
I'm
didn't-
allowed to-
I'm sorry if I broke kayfabe for everybody, but
I'm
they're
finally
fucking
allowed-
actors. So when they're like, you know, lesbian love triangle goes awry, and then at the end, of course, they have to fight like, you fucking bitch or whatever, you know, and like they have to hold him back. Like that's the shtick, you know. And then like, you know, everybody, the crowd cheers for Jerry.
Wait, they
but-
were all hired actors?
I'm pretty sure the vast majority to all of them, yeah. Because if you look back and it's like
I'm
it's
sure
bad
they
acting.
ended up
It's bad acting.
I'm sure
yeah.
they ended up that way because after a while
Yeah.
people were not willing to come on and embarrass themselves in front of national TV.
Exactly. But anyways, yeah, she was like part of like a crazy lesbian love triangle shtick, you know.
Fuck, okay, this is the shit about acting that bothers me. Is that because I saw this early on, not from my experiences auditioning for those movies we were talking about. It was from my friends' experiences.
Yeah.
And some of the shit I saw my friends do, I'm like, yo, you don't have integrity.
Yeah.
Like, you're not a person.
Mhm.
You're a puppet. You're a slave. You're a whore. You'll do anything for a
Yeah.
paycheck. Whatever I got to do to make some money.
Yeah.
Because I had a hard time doing that in the music industry when I started. I became a jobber.
Yeah. I know the
for-
term. Yeah.
for these
Jobber.
for anybody
Journeyman.
that doesn't know what a jobber is, it's just a hired gun.
Yeah.
So what I got, and this sucks, dude. This is another reason I got a little jaded towards the music industry for a while. Is I found a niche that I was really good at, which was learning a lot of music in a short period of time, and not even learning it perfectly, but learning it enough to fucking kill it on stage. Like, be a dope fucking, where people are like, holy fuck, dude, you're the shit. Oh my God, when did you join this band? And I'd be like, I learned this set 3 days ago. And they're like, what? And like, it was all tricks. I just fooled everybody that I was good. Like, I wasn't good. I did what you did with the lines.
Yeah.
Dude, it was mostly
And I've done that
listening.
many times, yeah.
Because back then I had my chops up. So I didn't even have to get on a drum set to learn a lot of this music.
Yeah.
It was just, I will listen to this music on repeat for 3 days. And then I'm going to show up because I just practice. I just practice. My chops are up. I'm good to go. And I just learn your songs. And then I just show up and do the job.
Yeah.
Bro, it was crazy because it was the biggest ego boost and the biggest ego depression I had ever been in my life, because I would get praise from some guys on tour, other drummers, where they're like, holy fuck, you learned all of this in 3 days and you fucking crushed. They're like, dude, you're my favorite drummer now. Like, I'm going to follow you. And they'd follow me on Facebook or whatever, you know? And I don't even have a lot of followers on Facebook. I have like a few hundred, right? Like, that's kind of what I'm getting at here, right? And then the next night, we'd be in the next town, and I'd hear some other guy warming up, and I'd be like, why am I even here? These guys are so good. I'm embarrassed to even be on this. It was the biggest.
I've been there too.
It was the biggest mind fuck I'd ever experienced in my life, dude. I don't remember what my original point was, but either way, we should probably wrap this up. What time is this? 9:24. Yeah, we got to wrap this up, dude.
Yeah, we still got another
next
song.
week, you're playing at
Yes, a week from today, Thursday, July 13th, Dayblock
Brewing.
Brewing. The Modern Era is coming back after 5 years.
And you can go to jackswagger.com.
Yep, I got the ticket link on there.
Nice.
I also have the link on my bio on Instagram at the real Jack Swagger, and yeah, or you can go to Dayblock's website. Yeah, we're really excited to come back and get rocking again.
Well, let's wrap this up, dude. I apologize for having such a sloppy podcast. You guys, I know a lot of you have probably already noticed it. Like, Jared is fucking not on his game tonight. You're right. I'm not on my game. You know why? Because I haven't done this in 3 fucking months. It's all about consistency. It's all about the reps. So we're going to try to get back after this. If I'm lucky, I'm going to be able to get Jack's mom on next week. We're going to do American Gladiator podcast. If I'm lucky, we're going to pull this off. And then I'm genuinely back to booking. We're going to at least do one a week for a while. One of the reasons, I just want to tell everybody, one of the reasons we took such a big pause is because I thought we were moving. I thought we were moving studios. I had everything lined up, actually in 2 different places. And both deals fell through, and it kind of fucked me up. It kind of, that loss of momentum really kind of fucked my whole shit up, man. And it really, because I stopped podcasting because I'm like, well, we're moving in 60 days, so I don't want to fucking blah, 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 right? I got to tear down the studio and fucking move. And then that fell through. And then I started looking again, and I was like, well, I usually book 30 to 60 days out, so I'm not going to book right now because I might be moving again. And that kind of snowballed with the fact that I needed to take a break anyways. So then I literally told my wife, I said, we're going to podcast. If somebody calls me or emails me or text messages me or Facebook messages me or Instagram message, whatever, if you hit me up directly and you're like, hey, I got an album coming out, I got a show coming up, I want to promote it, can we do a podcast? The answer is always yes. The answer is always yes if I know you. If I don't know you, the answer might be no, because I don't know how the podcast is going to go, and I want to have fun, right? I had a couple podcasts where I did that shit, and I was like, this sucks. I don't want to do this.
You got to vibe, right?
Yeah.
You got to vet people a little bit.
And one dude fucking put himself on the same fucking tier as After the Burial, and I had to fucking quickly be like, nah, bro. And that still to this day doesn't feel good. I feel terrible about that podcast, but he was fucking out of his goddamn mind. Like, his band was nowhere near that level. So long story short, we're sort of back. A bunch of you fucks, especially if you're in the Patreon, you go to patreon.com/JaredSingerLive. A bunch of you that are in the Patreon have gotten like glimpses of the new logos, the rebranding we're going to do. all this is supposed to be lock and step with moving into a new studio, which never actually happened. And I'm super fucked up about it. Still looking for a new place, but I'm not willing to wait any longer. We're going to be back in some degree. I got to ramp up booking. Hopefully we're back next week doing an American Gladiator podcast. That'll be fucking absolutely dope. I'm telling you, I will prepare for this motherfucker. Like it'll be like an NFL player's coming on the podcast again. Like I'm going to prepare for this motherfucker for real. I'm super excited about this idea. I'll buy your mom her favorite bottle of wine. If she wants to bring somebody else other than you, she's more than welcome. We'll get it figured out.
Try to wrangle
Stay
somebody.
in contact. Other than that, if you guys want to come on the podcast, hit me up directly. Jared Singer Live. If you hit me up on my personal page, I will not fucking answer your call. Do not try to book me through my personal page. Jared Singer Live, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Everything's Jared Singer Live. What's your social medias? The Real Jack Swagger?
At the Real Jack Swagger
On
Instagram,
everything?
and then jackswagger.com.
Everything.
Well,
God,
on
I see,
Facebook, I'm Jackson Dillon because my old one got hacked. It's a long story, but
Doesn't matter.
My villain.
Doesn't matter. Your name's Jackson Dillon Swagger. I love the consistency. Thank you for sending me some great fucking photos, by the way. Because you gave
I finally got some pro ones done.
You sent me
Thank
a text.
you, acting.
You sent me a text tonight, though. You were like, "Great job on the promos." By the
They
way,
look great. Thank you.
I've said this for 2 fucking years. My promo material is as good as the photos you send me. If you send me great photos, my promo materials fucking look great.
Oh yeah,
If you send me bullshit, my promos look like bullshit. You see what I'm saying?
Listen,
I cook with
you
the
heard.
fucking ingredients I'm given.
Yeah.
Get yourself some real photos, local musicians. Stop sleeping on the fucking photography. It matters.
No train tracks
it
either.
goes. No train tracks. No stairs. No brick walls. No woods.
Yeah, that needs to get.
Get out of the forest. Get off the train tracks. Get away from the brick walls, and don't sit on stairs. Those are your 4 advices for taking great photos. Pay a guy some good fucking money, at least
Or
$100 an
girl,
hour.
or anybody.
A guys is plural
Universal
for
term.
universal
You
sex.
guys,
Yeah. Hire a guy, a girl, whatever. See, that's what I don't like. I don't like the fact that I have to say hire a guy or girl. Like everybody knows what we mean. I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick and
Guy
tired of
and
this
dude
bullshit.
I feel
Hire
like
someone.
unisex.
Hire a person. Probably
Who's
should
good.
pay a minimum of $60 to $100 an hour. If they charge
Minimum,
less
yeah.
than that, they're probably not good enough to
They
take
need
your
to get-
photos. And if you can't afford to pay somebody that, then you need to either play more gigs, save up more money, get a second job, but you need to take this shit seriously because you're trying to be a real musician. And again, what I said earlier, I don't tolerate bullshit. I'm done with it. I have zero more patience for this. From now on, this entire podcast, we're not trying to be nice anymore. We're spitting straight facts. And I trust you to trust me that we won't go the fresh and fit route. We ain't going to start spitting a bunch of bullshit propaganda. Like this is going to be real, actual information, not just a bunch of assholes. Because fresh and fit suck in every possible way. Those guys shouldn't be allowed to give dating advice. Seriously, they're terrible human beings. Other than that, you got anything to say?
Come see The Modern Era next Thursday, July 13th.
It's
Get in.
Thursday?
Yeah, it's a week from today.
Next Thursday, Dayblock Brewing. I'll be there. You're
Get in.
You're gonna send me a reminder, right?
Yeah. I think I have a ticket for you.
You're
in my
gonna
wallet.
text me that day, right?
I will. I'm going to text you every 48
I'll
hours.
take that ticket, by the way.
Yeah. Get in.
We love you guys.
I love you.
We're out of here. I love you too, buddy. Wait,
I
were you
love
talking to
too.
me?
Well, everybody, and you especially, yes.
I'm gonna pretend you
Mostly-
weren't talking about them.
mostly you, but also you. You fucking internet, I see you. You fucks.
You fucking internet.
You internet
you're the,
fucks.
You're the most internet of the internet. You fucking fucks. I love you guys. We'll see you next week.